something happened with Bink. This when Preem came home. And Bink must have said some shit like, yo, this nigga's changing, this nigga's like being a dick, basically. And I think niggas made Irv like go to Bink's crib and make that nigga apologize, and he told the nigga Bink, he's like, cause you can't talk to me that way anymore, cause I'm Irv Gotti. And I think that was like the first time I heard the Irv Gotti shit, and it kinda made me laugh, cause I was like, okay, so what's my code name? Like, we all get a code name now?
It's hot for trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work you heard. Making fiends leave earth you heard. Got your baby mama thirst you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the wave you need to surf you heard. Told Jim I need a bomb I could drop on you niggas. Bad boy, I'm never gonna stop for you niggas. I don't give a fuck who you got is the illest. I solidify my spot with gorillas. Now I'm rock with you niggas.
Alright, we back. My expert opinion, the fastest growing podcast in the world, nigga. Shit's lit. Hit that like, hit that share, let everybody know you in here. Don't cost you no paper unless you's a mother hater. Shout out to all the new subscribers. I know you guys are enjoying the content. These are real hip hop stories that we giving y'all. So, you know, in the event, like 10 years from now, these are gonna be things that everybody looks back and be like, yo, look at this. Look, this was his story. This was his story. This was his story. And we just happy to be here recording these things. Shout out to my man, MECC.
Salute, King. Respect.
How many demos this week, nigga?
Nah, nothing. Actually came up on some good shit this week.
Yeah?
Yeah, shout out to Pretty Bully.
Pretty Bully?
This chick, spitting. Salute to her. She's
fire?
What's her Instagram?
Pretty B-U-L-L-I, I want to say. I'm off the top of my head. Pardon, no disrespect.
No, I just want to check her out.
No,
Yeah.
she.
No, I want to check
come
her
on,
out.
man. Like, come
She
on,
was
son.
airing. Would you stop that?
Come on,
Would you
son.
stop that?
I just want to see if she can sell some records.
It's terrible when it comes from you. It's terrible when it comes from you.
It just sound creepy when
Why
you say
y'all
it,
on my man like that, though?
You
Why
act like you don't know.
Opinion,
You
man?
act like you
She's
don't
a
know.
bitch,
People
right?
that rock with people
Yo,
like
but
that.
yo,
Let
so
him
Mac-
be him.
Shout out to Pretty Bully. That shit
Let him be him.
fire.
Let's see if we can get on the drop for freestyle.
Oh, say less. Say
Oh,
less.
by the way, we doing a freestyle series.
Yeah, yeah,
Holla at your boy. We here. You got some talent? Holla at us. Sean Bigger, man of God, and not many words. Heineken was popping.
Relaxing.
I got some theme music for you, nigga.
Oh, the one you came in walking, that's the theme to the show. Pure ignorance.
Dang, there it is.
You know, when Han said, you know, she was celibate and then she lost her nigga, now she's celibate.
Yeah, let's get it.
I
Shout out to
understood
Brooklyn
that.
Hands, you heard?
I understood that. As a
We all
nigga
like
that been
We
around
all
girls
did.
who's celibate.
I like that.
It's
That's
all
I
all
understood
right.
that
Now,
shit.
now you want to ask us again while we get on your man?
That's not my lyrics. It ain't my lyrics, it's a Coney Island nigga
Yeah,
lyrics.
facts.
You see the shit he gravitate to? Thank you.
Oh my God, y'all see why I talk to this nigga all day? It's comedy, guys.
Yo, shout out to my guy ESSO, man.
Yo.
I hope this episode come out.
Word up. Listen, man. Love me and hate me, man. Shout out to Canada. Shout out to Carnal Fish out, Drizzy, and everybody for embracing me. Y'all see I got y'all shit on right now, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to
416.
Jellystone. You know what I mean? The whole Toronto, man, for showing me love and shouting out my expert opinion and wanting us to come up there. Like it's real deal up there. I
Let's
really
get it.
appreciate
Let's
y'all.
go on a tour.
Word.
Man. Let's go on a tour.
They want us there, Vancouver,
LA definitely been calling.
yeah, Montreal,
And London.
Atlanta.
And
Ottawa,
London.
And
Houston.
Chicago.
Paris.
Yeah,
Paris.
there it is. Let's get it.
And I got a call
I'm
about
hosting
Jamaica.
something in Paris in
I gotta
March.
push too.
Oh, Jamaica, yeah.
Holla
I
at
got a
me.
call about
Yeah,
Jamaica.
Listen.
shit.
Jamaica's on lock. Shout out to Kamani Marley. Shout out to Junior Reed. They both on the project. It's about to be crazy.
That's it.
Jamaica's on lock.
You
bro.
you need a record called KFC.
KFC, what's that?
Come on, stop. They ain't. Come on, man. Come on, man. Chill.
Wait, you a Premier?
Chill, man.
Nah,
chill.
KFC supposed to be lit out there.
It is lit. It's great shit, B.
Ain't selling no oxtail, nigga. In the case of Queens, I don't think any borough in the world has produced so much talent and has contributed more to hip hop. Now tonight, we got somebody whose story is definitely one of the stories you need to get to understand the whole Queens movement. He's one of those guys that pioneered a new era of hip hop. We got Mike Geronimo.
My God, I love y'all.
What's good, man? What it is?
And you know, that's too long. And you shoot or grab the wheel, nigga. That's how it is. I'm happy to be here.
This is great.
I gotta tell you again, I'm proud of you. I'm a fan. I'm happy for you. Like,
thank you, bro.
I got my starstruck shit or some real shit sitting here with you, so it's crazy, bro.
Yeah, we were both on the same time.
Real talk. I'm happy to be here, bro.
Now y'all was having a conversation that sounded very interesting earlier.
Yeah.
Old Queen shit.
Yeah,
old Queen shit.
Old.
Where y'all want to start?
I think it started at talking about Hype Williams. Hype Williams shot his first video. Hype Williams' first video was Mike Geronimo's video.
So you broke Hype Williams into the music industry, is what we're saying. The way we look at it in the hip hop world.
I mean,
yes, you're Queens nigga. Take the credit. Yeah. If you don't, ESSO will take the credit.
That's my nigga. The new TK Kirkland.
It just all unfolded that way. So
yeah.
I guess that could be said, but shout out to Hype.
Respect. Shout out to Hype. Shout out to Ralph McDaniels.
Yeah, Uncle Ralph.
Yeah, because he sent them over there in confidence that he was going to take care of that.
Uncle Ralph always was in my corner. Shout out to Uncle Ralph. Like, he always was in my corner. What I love about Uncle Ralph, he didn't like just look at me like, okay, you another one coming through the door.
Right.
Like, he did some real shit for me. Like, you know what I mean? And even after that, like, in terms of my well-being, like, he's really like Uncle Ralph, so I love him. I can't thank
salute
him
to
enough.
Uncle Ralph, man. God bless.
Yeah, real
So
talk.
let's start from the beginning.
What's up?
Where does it start at? For Mike Geronimo, where does it start at?
You mean like the when the it all popped?
Is it Blunt Records?
No. Before that.
Oh, before
How
that?
How did you even get there? Because there's a lot of unsigned artists. There's a lot of artists who got dreams to make it one day. And, you know, they might be in certain positions that they could relate with you, but can't see themselves there yet.
Right.
And you made it. So where
I
does
would
it start
say,
at?
bro, or some real shit. Like, with me, it was always some weird shit. Like, this shit was never nothing I was, like, after or asked for or nothing. Like, it didn't happen that way with me. Like, I grew up with Large Professor, shout out to Large, but Large was, like, literally the first person I knew coming outside of my crib. You know, so, like I said before, you know, when we was coming up, you would always have that person, your mama would be like, who you outside with?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'd be like, Mom with Paulie, or that's what we call him. So I'd be like, I'm with Paulie and I'm with Van.
Right.
Van, Carmen's sister, Nas' daughter's mother.
Yeah.
So Large and Van were literally, and my man J. Raff from Lost Boys, all three of them was, if I told my mama I'm outside with Paulie and Van and JJ, that she'd be like, all right, you can stay out till, you know, the street light come on.
Right.
So that's what I knew. And then, you know, we lived in the same neighborhood. My mom's passed away. My mom's, my uncle, and my man Jamal, they all died like in '86.
The same year?
Yeah, the same year.
Wow.
So
my condolences.
I appreciate it. So I ended up moving from Colden, from Wastelands.
Right.
But, you know, fast forward, home is always home. You know, so now I got, I turned a teenager. I'm like
When
15.
you moved, who did you move with?
Oh, I was everywhere, bro. Like at first, I mean, my pops was there, but my pops, he was going through his own shit, and he was a cop, he was in the military, but that shit rocked my pop. So he kind of had to get his feet, figuratively back on the ground. So
how did you take it?
It's funny you say that, bro, because I think now I understand myself more then than I understood myself then at that time.
Right.
So I would say, like it started with my aunt. My aunt got killed in a car accident on Christmas Eve. A drunk driver was on the Van Wyck by Shea Stadium, and his car jumped the divider.
Wow.
And sheared.
And hit her head on.
Yeah, sheared the roof off her car. So, I mean, that's just crazy because it was Christmas Eve and all of that shit.
Right.
So, you gotta understand, like, I'm like most of us, like, big family from down south that migrated to New York, so we was tight-knit,
Right.
so that rocked us, but during the period of my aunt's wake, we started to notice my mom's eye started like floating. And I was like, yo, your eye looks kind of cockeyed. And my dad was like, yeah. And then, long story short, she went and they had diagnosed her with cancer, with a tumor. So and before that, she was super lit. Like, she worked for Ebony Magazine. She was like the top ad executive at Ebony Magazine. So as a kid, she was taking me to the Waldorf Astoria. Like, Ebony used to do like fashion fairs, some shit like that. And I'd have to go to Saks with her, get my little 3-piece suit. And,
you seeing all the fly shit.
All the fly shit. I was seeing as a shorty because of my mom. So once she got sick, that cancer shit, it'll tear you down like gradually. So her speech started fucking up and all that crazy shit. So, but still, I don't think I was allowing myself to process it. So I would just go, she was like up here at New York Hospital, I think that's where it was. And they started doing the chemotherapy and like you do biopsies and that shit tears your body down crazy. But I would just go and try and get her to build her vocabulary up and all that shit.
How old were you at this time?
I want to say I was maybe 9 going on 10, 10 going on 11.
Wow. So it was.
Yeah.
It was kind of something that's hard to process at that age anyway.
But I don't think I did. I know I didn't because, like I said, I'm older now. So, and then someone I talked to about it, and they helped me get to the things you subconsciously do that you're not really aware you're doing.
Right.
So I was just doing what's known as stacking, which means you may go through something, but you just internalize it, you compartmentalize it, you push that shit down. And that's just your way of surviving, coping.
Right.
And as he was going through that, my man Jamal, God bless, like he was one of my best friends. He took my bike from Little League practice and ended up getting hit by a van on a Van Wyck. So now we was all like, okay. And that hit all of us. That hit Paulie, that hit Lodge, that hit like the whole neighborhood, because you got your little sets and your little crews that all rock together.
Right.
And like that was my man. Every day we on the monkey bars, we in mischief, like, but he gone now. So I don't think I even processed that. And then my mom's finally passed away, I want to say June 11th. She passed away on June 11th. And it's ill because Lodge is the one who told me now, he's like, you don't understand, when your mom's passed, like the whole neighborhood, it was like a black cloud, because my mom's was like good with everyone. And she was hardworking. My dad, he was there, but when he wanted to be, I'm gonna keep it a buck. He was in and out. Right. You know how that go.
Yeah. being a cop, I can imagine like at that time.
Yeah. And
coming from the armies of service, right?
Yeah.
And they be dealing with mad trauma.
Facts. I like. Yeah,
How many years was he?
Wasn't nobody saying PTSD back then?
No, his PTSD. I'll get to that. Like his PTSD thing didn't start. He actually was in Vietnam.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, he was in Vietnam. He was in the Korean conflict, Vietnam, and the first Desert Storm.
Like man, wow. You gotta understand, like, I used to be around them war vets.
Yeah, me too.
And them dudes would like, you know, some of them would go take advantage of the women. And crazy story I heard, some of them would put razor blades in their joint. So any guy,
they would do
devious things.
And
it was war.
It's war.
Yeah.
It's
so mentally, for him to come back.
Back then they just called it shell shock.
Right.
They didn't have no
they didn't have a term for it.
Just shell shock.
But you gotta keep bearing. I'm a shorty, so I don't really know about mentally what you going through. Or, you know, so my mom's died, and then you go through all that shit, like, you know, the family being in conflict with my pops, and they was concerned, and, you know, my mom's had, you know, gave, I guess, what she wanted for me. Because, you know, she had me in private school, and there was certain things she wanted me to stay on that, in that lane. And I think she thought rather that my dad wasn't going to be able to keep all of that shit going, so I ended up going with my aunt. No, I ended up going with my Uncle Bill, rest in peace. And I didn't really want to go with him. But I wanted to really go with my Aunt Pat and my Uncle John, because me and my cousin John was like birds of a feather. So if I had to leave the block, that's where I wanted to go. But it was sad, like, you know, I had to leave what I knew. I had to leave Wasteland. So I ended up from there in Jackson Heights. My Uncle Bill lived in Jackson Heights, but then he passed away. He passed away from AIDS maybe 5 months after I went with him.
Damn.
5 months.
Yeah.
So by the time you turned 10, you had already been hit.
Yeah, like boom, boom,
times.
boom, boom, boom.
Wow.
But still, my G, like, I wasn't...
Never going through it, never processing.
Yeah, I wasn't processing it. I was just like... I think at that point I started saying to myself, all right, that's just how it is. You know, so... But that's a lot of trauma to deal with.
Right.
And I don't think that I never really... Like you said, I never acknowledged it. I just had to keep going.
Were you the type to just keep busy?
Yeah, I was always in the sun. Like, I mean, before all of that, like, I always knew how to draw. Like, that was like my first love. Like, I could draw anything. I could draw like Iron Man. I could draw E.T. I could, you know,
I used to be on that shit.
Yeah, and Large was like big into graffiti at the time. So I would go get designer markers and my black book, like on Main Street, they had a store called PEX. So I would go to PEX and go get designers, all that shit. And I start bossing up with the arrow styles, all that shit, the color blends, the bubbles, the throwies.
Did you ever go bombing?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I used to go with Large,
What was your tag?
Oh God, I can't remember my first tag. I think somewhere along the line I ended up writing Rain.
Rain.
But R-A-N-E. But I come back to that, so I was busy and I was always into sports. I played like baseball, I loved baseball. So I played Little League, but all that shit was dead once you had to, you know, move around
and all that, yeah.
So after my uncle passed, I ended up with my aunt and my uncle and my cousin that I wanted to be with. But I think that shit hit my aunt so hard, losing my mom and my other Aunt Elle.
Yeah, that's a sister and a brother, right?
Yeah, and my Uncle Bill, losing all three of them. So she just was a train wreck. She was an alcoholic. But she was taking the Social Security money that they sending to me, you know, that
buying alcohol,
pocketing that shit.
Wow.
So from there, I ended up uptown here with my dad and my grandfather. I think it was 135th, and yeah, and I would go to like Pan Pan. There was a restaurant called Pan Pan up here. Go eat there
135th and Lennox.
Facts.
Lennox?
I used to go to Pan Pan all the time.
And there was a beef patty
Hell
spot
yeah,
called
Pan
the
Pan.
Hot Spot.
Yo, Pan Pan was
lit.
What? Yo, Pan Pan was lit.
the
The
grits
grits.
was-
That's what
Food good.
The grits was crazy. And then they burnt it down.
Yeah, they burnt Pan
They
Pan
burnt
down.
that shit down, son.
So
and my bad.
Nah, so you know.
Pan Pan
So,
was lit.
So once I ended up with my dad, nigga, I was running around the streets, bro. I was, I didn't really get into nothing too tough, but I was like start cutting school, and at that time, like 42nd Street was just big arcades.
Yeah.
So I would go to the arcades on 42nd Street.
Arcades and movie theaters.
Yeah,
Kung Fu flicks.
I'd get up,
And the other movie theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
special
that was that one block.
Oh yeah, right there.
Disney block.
Yeah, right there.
Facts.
They have a Disney
Y'all
block.
used to go in there, right?
Nigga, I worked in Port Authority, so that's how all of them.
Yeah.
Mike, you was in there too.
Nah, I never
don't
made
front,
that
nigga,
on guard, because that
was in that
wasn't where my
motherfucker.
head was.
Right. It was you
I
was
was
on
always
video
a
game.
video game junkie,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, me too.
I'd be like, yo, let me get $40. My pops would be like, here's 20. I wait for that nigga to go to the bathroom. I'll go take another dub, and I was lit. I go $40 and be in the arcade
Okay,
and
all
just.
day.
And I would just observe the city, bro. I would just stay on the train until whenever.
Right.
So I think early on I learned how to be by myself and keep myself busy.
Right.
And then
What was your games? 'Cause I ain't have $40. I get like a dollar
trying to
here,
remember
dollar there. I had to be nice.
Tempest. I played Tempest. I played Paperboy. I played. Of course, I was on the Pac-Man shit, but that shit was kind of. It used to be some game where you was like on a tube, a river raft, or some shit like that, and you had to navigate your way through. I think it was called tubing or some shit like that.
Nah,
But I rock with Frogger though. I fuck with Frogger.
Was Street Fighter out there?
No, this
Not
was
yet.
before
Mario
that.
Brothers.
Yeah.
It was
Donkey
before
Kong.
Donkey Kong.
You talking about
Donkey Kong was the way.
Donkey Kong was.
And remember when
That's
they had the portable, the little joint where you could buy it?
the
What?
Coleco Vision era?
I think Commando was out too. Like Commando used to throw like little hand grenades and the
Yeah.
bullets look like dots. So.
Yeah.
But anything, and even the games that you sit there, you like, wait, that's a whole $1? I'm not fucking with that, nigga. I gotta fuck with it. A whole $1, you gonna kill me dead, nigga. Like, but I'll be like, fuck that. I'm gonna ride with it.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately too, that's kind of like where I started getting on some like if I saw somebody had like $5 laying around in an arcade or something, like I'd just be like, fuck that, like, and then go get more quarters. Because I started saying to myself, like, don't nobody care anyway. Nothing really don't care about you, so why do you care about anything?
Right.
So I started doing little dumb shit, where your mind plays tricks on you.
Right.
But mind you, I'm still in a school where they paying like, my tuition's like $10K a year. So I would still get up and take 2 trains and a bus to go to prep school out in Jackson Heights from living here. And I would try to keep it a secret with my classmates that, I lived out here. And I didn't think nobody knew that. So I think for me, that was how I first started just learning how to be on my own. And then when I got old enough, about 14, 15, now Paulie's not Paulie now, he's like large professor, and it's a group called Main Source, and I never forget the day I came back to Wastelands and he seen me like coming up to the building, and he's just like, Mike. But I'm like, yo, you like a rapper now and all that shit? And he's like, yo. I went upstairs to his crib, and that was the genesis of it being on for me. Because I think that was like the first time I saw like 2 turntables and a mixer. And I was like, yo, what does that do? Like, and I saw it. And then mind you, I'm a little older, so I'm getting ready to go to Bayside High School, public school, and I made that conversion. But when it was at Bayside that I was like, okay, I think I want to fuck with this DJ shit.
Right.
So whenever I
You
could,
was DJing first?
that's how it all started.
Okay.
On some real shit. Like, I went to school with Chucky Madness. And Chucky Madness did the blend tape where he took the the Mario Brothers. And he hooked the shit up to the mixer, and that nigga put like the bridge, the drums from the bridge behind it, like boom, 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 boom. And I was like, oh, I'm fucking with this shit hard. So I had to get turntables, bro.
Right.
And we did. You know, like, my dad had remarried my stepmom. I don't call her my stepmom. Like, that's my mom. You know what I mean? For all intents, she raised me, whatever.
Right.
And it was just one Christmas where they bought us, like, 4 turntables, 2 mixers. Like, my parents was wild. I was like, yo, son, they bought me and my brother, like, 2 sets. And we was like, why they buy us 4 turntables?
So you want to
right,
fight
and
over
my
them.
little brother's like, nigga, don't ask no questions. Just ride with it. You know what I mean? Like, ride with it. Like, don't go fuck it up and go back to there. Like, yo, you should return this shit. No. So we sitting there, and mind you, this is when my dad had got back in the military, because he had, like, pull. You know when they let you out the military, they can't really let you back in, but he was so hard body and he was so plugged in, like,
Yeah, he got it.
he got it. So we end up living on Fort Totten in Bayside. And we got our own crib. And at that time, my brother has his room, I have my room. But because we got all the DJ equipment, he's like, all right, here's what we gonna do. We gonna share a room, and we gonna make
Put
your
the equipment
room
in
the DJ room. So, nigga, 8 in the morning, my nigga, I get up, chopping, scratching, blending. All you hear is my part, turn that shit down. What the hell is wrong with you, bird brains? That shit is too loud. But I was fucking with it.
Yeah.
So then when I go to a large crib, and he got a set, and he had the techniques. That's the one thing my parents fucked up when they got us, like, the belt drive turntables. If you're a DJ, you know on belt drive, you can't really cut on a belt-driven turntable. It doesn't allow, because the pullback is not like a technique.
Right.
Technique, you just lick your finger, boom, and that shit would spin right back.
Right.
But it was actually good because it trained me how to better keep my fingers more steady when I'm trying to chop or cut.
Right, because then you got to push it back in the right.
Right, because you got to push it back in the position. So when I went to a large crib, I'm like, oh, he got techniques.
It's easier.
It's easier.
Right.
And I'm watching the DMC contest, like, and all that shit. So, like, Clark and all them niggas is my hit. I'm trying to emulate all that shit. I'm trying to learn how to take my shirt off while I'm spinning around
and all that,
every day. So I started out DJing. And that's really how I ended up going to sign them Hot Watts on the app.
Hot Wax, yeah.
Yeah, Hot Wax. I would go there every day after school.
Hot Wax was lit. That was the spot for hip-hop back then.
Everybody.
But that's where you got your singles.
Jamaica Avenue.
Facts. So I go get, and you start getting doubles of record. You won't get one.
You get
had
two.
to get
so
two. So I would go get whatever was hot at that time, come home. You know, if you thorough with it, you could take the single and go like this on your knee, and that shit rip the plastic off of the shit for you, and the record just fall out.
Wow.
And I was hard body into that shit, and it was by chance, bro. Like, again, Van, who's Carmen's brother, Nas, like Nas' baby's Nas' daughter's mother.
Right.
Van and Large used to always spit. Like, if you was at Large crib, you just had to start
You
spitting.
talking about light-skinned Van?
Fact.
Oh, shit, I didn't realize
Yeah,
Van and Carmen
Van
was
had
brothers.
dread. Yeah, Van had dread.
They be in Rochdale. Circle 4, what
Circle
you talking about? He did D-Lo clothing.
Right, so you... No, you mean dancing Van.
Yeah, you talking about another Van.
Vampire
Okay, yeah,
not
okay,
that Van.
okay, not that Van.
I meant that Van later on.
Oh, okay, all right, my bad.
Right, I know what
My
you're talking
bad.
about.
All right, cool.
You talking Black Rock and Ron.
Yeah, that's why I was like, that's Carmen's brother.
Nah,
Okay, cool.
that's Black Rock and Ron. Van.
Okay, I
that
got
used
you.
to do. So I just started
Queens.
bugging.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you don't know, like Black Rock and
Queens,
Ron, they had a big song out, You Can't Do Me Nothing, like it was some real Queen shit. So that's the vein talk, but we get to that. But I just started spitting like on some playing around shit. And fucking around and being around there with them, that just honed me on how to freestyle. So at first I start freestyling just to see if I could do it.
Right.
But then the more you do something and you're not thinking about it, you getting better without knowing you are.
Right.
So I just kept doing that shit.
How old are you now?
I think I'm like 16, getting ready to cross into 17.
Right.
You know, and but still I was to myself as a person, like if I wasn't around Large and Van and CeeLo and Lenny and J-Raff and all these niggas that be at Large Crib, I'm still trying to figure out who I am, what I am. I'm not really talking with folk.
Right.
I wasn't outside.
You was in that 42nd
going
no
for it
more.
yet.
Yeah.
And that's actually what threw me off, because now my cousin John, who I lived with him and his moms, you know, he put me on to being outside in them streets.
Right.
So he introduced me to some dudes in Corona, and I'll never forget, like he came in the crib with the Jordan. No, he came in the crib with some new dunks, like the orange and white dunks one day. And I remember like wrestling was on, and that nigga came in with the starter jacket. He had the Celtic starter or whatever, and I'm like, yo, where you got them dunks? How come you keep coming in with sneakers? And the nigga's like, he showed me the crack. He's like, yo, I be moving this shit, da-da-da-da. And I was like, I want some new sneakers, I want to do that.
Right.
He's like, you know, you ain't ready for that. You ain't gonna be, you know.
Yeah.
But he turned me on.
Yeah.
And he plugged me to niggas in Corona. And it was on from that.
And this is 16, 17.
Yeah. So now I'm in Corona on 104 in Northern by the auto parts store.
Tell me what your first sale was like.
I ain't even think about it, nigga. I was so oblivious, my G, like, I'm not gonna say who it was, but they was like, all you gotta do, they gonna give you the money, you gonna give them the work, don't do that shit out in the open, and all right, I'm gonna start you off with this little packet.
Right.
You just gonna wait for such and such is gonna tell the person to come to you. And I didn't think nothing of it, I just did it and boom.
Boom, that's it.
I'm not thinking about circling patrols, I'm not thinking about hand to hand, I'm not thinking about direct.
Thinking about some new Jordans.
Fact. So I think like my first day, I think I came on with like an additional $300, $400 or whatever it was.
Oh,
and
you was
like,
in. You was in.
Like, oh.
It's over.
What, nigga, I ran to the Coliseum, nigga. I was like, I want that. They meet. So now there's that.
Right.
And that's actually helping me to, there's no other real way to say it, change up, I guess, and now I'm buying, now I could get the army suits and the Timbs and all this shit is coming,
right.
You feel me? So when I come back to school the next year, now I'm on some fly guy shit, so now more people talking to me, I'm sitting at the cool table at the lunchroom, a lot of shit is different now.
Yeah.
You feel me? And I'm fucking with Large in them all the time. So, and I'm still rhyming, still fucking around, so as fate.
But you writing or you still freestyling?
It's weird, bro. I would be asleep. I remember that, like I would be laying sleep. And it could be like 2, 3 in the morning, and something would just make me pop up out of my sleep and just be like, and I'd be like, do you remember the words you saw in your head? And if I knew I could remember the words I saw in my head, I would grab a pencil and a piece of paper, and I would just start writing the shit down.
You was getting rhymes in your sleep.
Fact.
That happened to me before. It's some ill shit, though.
It's some wild shit because you're not even asking your brain to tell you to make up a rhyme.
Right.
You just fucking knocked out.
Right.
So that started happening. So Then
That was happening often?
very often. And I still, like I said, I wasn't chasing it. And I'm still thinking more DJ shit.
Right.
So then when I keep popping
But it's
up
coming to you in your sleep.
like that. So now I start keeping like a piece of paper or something by the bed. So when I wake up, you know how I go, nigga?
This nigga had a rapping ghost in his crib, yeah. The nigga would freestyle while you sleep and you wake up and just...
Yeah. I would just be like, boom.
The nigga really had a ghostwriter.
Yeah.
So, yo, let's say this.
But yeah, and I'm telling you, I'll pop up and be like, yo, do you remember it all? Just go.
Yeah.
And I can't rightfully say what that was.
Right.
And I'm still honing my freestyle shit, because that I have more fun doing.
Right.
And I would watch them do that. And I just wanted to get to the point where when I'm at Large Crib, when he start passing the mic around,
You could take...
I could take it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So fast forward, me and a nigga Van is somewhere, I want to say we was at the spot where niggas would go get the cold old English joints off the Clearview when you come off and you on Hillside. It was a certain store.
Yeah.
I think it's Green Farm or something. It was Farm something or whatever, but everyone knew to go there because the 40s was super cold, crisp. So we went there and we had some weed and we was smoking and we stopped in front of a store on Hillside. And Van just start freestyling. And then I start freestyling with him. And I'll never forget, it was like a homeless dude or something. He must have been listening to us, and the nigga was like, he looked at Van, he said, yeah, you all right with that shit. But you gonna be somebody one day. And I was like, okay. And then I went to Bayside, I went to school one day, and we was in the lunchroom, and my nigga Rasta T, shout out to Rasta T from
Rasta T from Liberty. Oh, yeah, from Liberty.
Yeah.
Ross T.
Ross went to school with me.
Ross T and Sister Kendra.
Yeah, say less. Yeah, you know.
Ross T.
So we in
Snipe was my man. Shaheem Holloway is my best friend. They from Liberty.
That's
170.
crazy. Me and you known each other for years.
A long time.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Shaheem my best friend. He actually got mad at me because I just said to him, I said, yo, Shah, you want to come on the show? He was like, when the fuck was you gonna ask me? I'm kind of offended. I went to the Elite 8 and you ain't asking me to be on a show with NBC and everybody want me on the show. I said, y'all apologize.
Holloway brothers was...
Deshaun Holloway.
Yeah. Holloway brothers.
And Sean, don't get mad at me. D was probably a better ball player than everybody over there.
Right.
Deshaun Holloway was the truth.
That's crazy, bro. Like, I'm bugging, seeing how life is trippy, bro. But anyways, we in the lunchroom one day, and Ross rhymed, like the whole school knew he rhymed, and he was a Lost Boy. So, you know, or that carries some weight. Crazy weight.
Especially in Queens, Southside.
Right.
And that time.
At that time, I wasn't officially claiming being Lost Boy, but I grew up with rap. And my man CeeLo was all in with the nigga.
Yeah.
Craig Lacey, CeeLo. Me, CeeLo, and Jamal, my man that died, we was best friends.
Oh, shit.
So now I'm kind of fucking with the LBs and all of that shit, but when I start spitting at the table, my man Squeako was doing the beat. You know how that go in the lunchroom on the table. My homegirl Tosh sitting next to me, and Ross finished, and I was like, all right. And Squeako was like, wow, you rhyme? I was like, I rhyme. And my homegirl Tosh was like, you don't rhyme. I was like, I do. She's like, no, you don't. It's so Squeako start hitting
It is.
I don't remember the whole rhyme. I just remember 14 clips and only got one ooh-wop. 25 seconds is all it takes for me to murder a Caesar, eat them up like cornflakes. I said some other shit. And when I finished rhyming, like, the whole lunchroom was, like, stuck, bro.
Yeah.
So I thought, I was like, damn.
You whack. He thought you was whack. Nobody said that. You think you whack.
I ain't gonna say shit. That nigga Squeako looked at me, that nigga was like, yo, when you started rhyming?
Like, what the fuck?
So they told Chucky Madness. Chucky Madness was a senior at Bayside.
Okay.
The next thing I know, Chuck is like, yo, why don't you come to my crib and, you know, I'm gonna cut some shit up.
And you rhyme.
And that was lit for me. I was like, oh, well, I do that shit now with Large Crib all day.
Right.
Now, mind you, that's lit because we Flushing niggas. They Hollis and Southside niggas.
Yeah.
So that put me in a weirdo place too, cause
you had a big chunk of Queens that
I was fucking with.
Yeah.
So I hustle in Corona, I chill in Flushing, I rhyme in Hollis and Southside.
That's a lot of territory.
Word. You all over the
So I was always, and like I said, as a kid, I already knew how to move on the trains and.
Cause you was in Harlem too.
Yeah. So I already, it didn't mean nothing to me to go anywhere. I think that was cool. Now that I'm older, I could say, okay, well that made it where I wasn't in fear to go to no one's territory.
Yeah.
Cause I was
And that started from you traveling so far to go to school.
Fact.
I used to do the same thing. Take 2 buses from like fucking 2nd grade. Because my moms had to go to work before I had to go to school.
Yeah, but
So
you gotta do
I
what
used to
you
be
gotta,
responsible. You know what I mean? Get up.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Exactly.
You know, and like you said, like you don't think of these things. You just
It's just something you have to do.
It's just what you have to do.
It's only to like
put the key
after a
around
while
your
you
neck.
realize like
fact.
Call me when you get home. When you walk in, lock the door behind you. Call me when you get
Don't
home,
answer the
so I
door
know
for
you
no
good.
one.
I got the food in the joint.
And like
Heat
you,
it up.
I used
you
to give
good.
my mother heart attacks since I'd be in the arcade till like 8 at night. And she'd be like, where the fuck is he at? I come in the
thing,
crib,
ain't no
get the ass
cell phones.
whooping. All right, cool.
Was you
I'ma
tall
go back
back then
tomorrow.
too?
Huh?
Was you a tall kid?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I looked older.
Older,
So
that's
older
why I
niggas
asked
used to,
you.
like, you know what I mean?
I was like super small then.
Yeah.
But I always had my little thing with me, my little style about me. So I guess that kept me, and I never had a demeanor like, I guess, a presence or like a menacing presence.
Right.
So I was all right. I could have been
You was a
anywhere.
cool, smooth
I was,
nigga.
yeah, I was
So you
just
didn't
cool.
invite challenge. People didn't look to.
Yeah.
I just be on my own way. You feel me? And then Large made me so advanced because he rhyming and all this shit. So fashion-wise, what to say, what to do. I'm not hanging with niggas my age. So I don't act my age when I'm around other folk.
Right.
You feel me? So now it's on. Now I'm fucking with Chuck. He cutting shit up. I'm spitting, yada. I stopped fucking with the DJ shit. And I think it was at that point Large kind of was like, oh, wait a minute, Mike kind of is, I see something.
Right.
So, Chuck, one day when I was at his crib, he was like, yo, you gonna perform at Liverpool at this like we gonna do this shit at Liverpool. It was 109 in Liverpool. It was the
Southside.
Yeah. That's
Southside.
crazy.
Yeah, Southside.
Right. And I'm leaving.
Facts.
Right.
Facts.
Look.
We invented We Outside. I
We
keep trying to
invented
tell
We
these
Outside.
niggas.
Come on with this Queen
I keep
shit,
trying to
man.
tell
Oh,
niggas,
yo,
man.
nigga.
Queens niggas,
Here
Southside,
we
we
go. We
outside. Been the deal. Thank you, that yo, we grew up on
you know, nigga,
Southside, we outside.
But you know why
Now
niggas
everybody outside,
Street
nigga,
family,
stop.
man. This shit is
Math, you know why they
Stop
say they
it.
outside?
Stop
They'll
it.
be in front of the corner store till like 5 in the morning,
Whatever.
right there on 160th
Real
Street.
talk.
He's from Brooklyn. He wasn't there when we was He wasn't there. He wasn't there.
Right in front of that
He
corner
was
store.
in
You see how you
Canarsie.
thought you was throwing you under the
Yeah,
bus
right
right
in front of
now.
that
All right,
corner.
He was in Canarsie when we was
No, I
outside.
was on Flatbush.
But look,
Nigga
Thank you. We invented outside.
We
Thank
was
you.
outside.
He got it on tape when I said it. Southside, we invented outside.
Yeah,
Now
but
the
y'all
whole
stay in
world
front
wanna
of the
say
corner
it.
store. Y'all didn't go past the corner store.
Nah.
But to keep it all in perspective, yeah. So he told me, and I think Sage was at his crib. DJ
Oh man,
Sage.
DJ Stage.
Yeah.
That's Rockwilders right here.
Yeah,
Man, Sage.
they know all of them.
Shout to Stage and P Drama.
Shout to
His
Rock,
brother P Drama.
Sage,
Yeah.
everybody from that was
That's
there.
Northside.
Real talk.
It's Northside.
But when Chuck said it, I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, everything with me was not thinking anything.
Right.
Yo, we gonna go jump out of plane. All right, cool.
Let's
go.
do it. Yeah.
Right.
Go.
So he told me we was gonna do the show or whatever, and he had me rhyming to this Barry White shit. And this is the genesis of the Mike Geronimo shit, because I wrote a song called Microphone Geronimo. I don't know why that's the idea, and it was funny because I got the Geronimo part from my man Fudd at school. When I would get in trouble and the deans was looking for me and the school officers was looking for me, he'd be like, uh-oh, Geronimo, you fell off, you in it again, bro.
Yeah.
So I wrote the song.
Yeah.
Fast forward, we go into Liverpool 109. It's like all the LB niggas. I think like maybe a couple of those Young Gun niggas came, like, it was packed.
Young Gun, you went back with the Young
Gun.
Gun.
Yeah.
That's damn.
All that shit. It was nigga, it was gooned out.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah. No women in there. Crazy.
Nah, if they was like, nah, we
thugging.
leaving, we out. or they was, yeah, I got the blank.
They was
I got
thugging.
the blank,
Right.
you know. So I remember 2 niggas spit like before me, they went on, and niggas was throwing bottles at these niggas and like paper and cups and all that shit on the stage, and I was like, nah, I'm not having that. Like, I don't want to get hit with no bottle or no crazy shit. And the nigga Chuck had to be like, yo, you gonna be all right. Just don't think about all of this.
Right.
And I did the song and the auditorium.
What song was it?
The Mike Geronimo shit I wrote. Yeah. And the auditorium was mad quiet. And I was like, again, the lunchroom shit, I was like, damn.
I ain't doing this shit.
And I just heard someone in the back like, yo, little nigga, you got another song? Then another nigga was like, yeah, little nigga, say something else. I was like, oh, I guess I did all right.
Yeah.
That nigga Chuck just threw something else on it. And that's where the freestyle shit kicked in.
Yeah.
And while I'm doing it, I'm faded, so you know that shit where you just faded and you locked in and you like, yo, I burn him, I burn anyone now. Me and that shit is like this.
Boom.
And I just went in, bro. And the whole joint was like, yeah, that little nigga got it.
Wow.
And that shit felt good, you know what I mean? Like, I came off stage, them LB niggas was, yo, little nigga, you there?
There's a big deal in Southside.
Yeah, it was a super big
Cheeks
deal.
was always a big deal in Southside before. When he got
on,
when they got on with Puff and them, they was already a big deal. We was like, we didn't think he was ever gonna get on by that time.
He been killing shit.
He was
so long
rhyming
around
and
the
fucking
way.
LaBest. Remember LaBest?
LaBest?
Oh,
the Puff
God,
and
not
LaBest?
LaBest.
Corey D and him
The
and
Corey D, yeah, nigga.
Dedication
Corey
rhyme.
D, you went back,
A
yo.
dedication rhyme to those who have died.
Southside
I
nigga
like
love
to organize with
Corey
burgers
D.
and fries with my young
Facts.
guns, with my Lost Boy
Alright,
crew,
cool.
because that's the way that we do. I remember all of that.
Corey D.
We wasn't sure Cheeks was ever gonna make it, but he was
Right.
such a local legend. He didn't
And you
have
know
to.
what's-
He was so
shout
lit
out to
around the
Cheeks.
way.
We didn't think
Because-
Cheeks was ever gonna get a deal.
But he was so he
Yo,
was already
the
doing
Source,
his thing.
The Source had the Lost Boys. I'm in high school and I opened the Source shit and I'm like, the Lost Boys?
Yeah, that shit
They
fuck you
really
up,
got
right?
a deal? I'm like, Lifestyle
Like,
to the
nigga, I
Rich and
know-
Shameless.
Right.
I'm like, hell, I'm like, is there another Lost Boy?
feel it.
And I go home from school and they like, yo, Cheeks and them niggas got
they
a
on.
deal.
Son.
They on.
I'm like, niggas from Southside Jamaica,
It's
Queens.
on.
I still got chills on my arms like,
Yeah,
Southside
fact.
niggas is
Bro,
on.
quietly,
Get out of here.
that's the shit that made me want to write for the Source.
I was
Really?
They put Southside niggas
In
in
the
the Source. I was
That was
like,
crazy.
wait a fucking minute.
It blew my mind like seeing Rafa on the fucking Slam magazine. That was the biggest
bro.
thing.
Oh, that was
around the same
crazy.
time seeing Rafa on
When
Slam
Rafa
as the
was
best
on
point
Slam,
guard you never
Yeah,
seen.
nigga.
That Southside, we was going crazy.
Yeah,
That shit was
wild.
nuts.
We was going bonkers at that
You
time.
see all of it? All I wanted to do was get to like where Cheeks and Spank was.
Yeah.
Cause they was like the MCs that was like kings of the park.
Everybody knew him. It's like
And
Cormega before he, like Cormega in the park gym.
Right,
Like, everybody
see?
knew who Cormega was. You just outside of
And
outside of the hood, outside of the barbershops, you didn't know.
You didn't know.
But if you was from Queens,
you was there-
and niggas said Mega, everybody was like,
Oh, Cormega.
a nice
Yeah.
nigga from the park. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that
What's
was
up with
that
son?
was they side. That was on the
That was over there.
Queensbridge side.
Cheeks
on
was the
our
nigga
side,
for that.
Cheeks
It was
is
Cheeks.
Spank and rest in peace, Corey.
The only
They
other,
was-
and the only nigga, I just want to jump in, the only nigga that ever came out there that was not from Queens, that was in Park Jams was Redman.
Fact.
Redman
At
was in
Montebello.
Queens.
Yeah.
When he went to
Redman was in
Montebello.
Queens. Redman was
Yeah.
all over Queens.
Niggas ain't
And
right.
he did famous freestyles all over
All
Queens.
over
And that
Queens.
Montebello Park went
Yup.
down.
Yeah.
And he did that same rhyme on
Yup.
EP&D Project.
Wasn't Biz on the turntables when he did the shit at
I
Montebello?
don't remember.
Park?
I was young. I was on the gate. I remember seeing him. I was standing on the speaker.
That was
because who was the big? I can't remember the big DJ from Queens at that time. Because he was doing all the Park Jams. Nah, it wasn't GMV.
It wasn't GMV, it
GMV
was
was the
someone
biggest
else.
nigga from
Yeah.
Queens, but he wasn't the Park nigga that was doing.
And GMV wasn't going to that side.
He wasn't going to
so-
Montebello.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like I can't remember who it was.
Shout out GMV.
But
I
I
just
stood
spoke
on the
to
speaker,
GMV.
so I was a hip hop baby standing on the speaker
On the-
watching
at Montebello.
Redman spit. Going dumb when nobody knew him, and
Got
then
it going on.
buying the
Since I'm up
record and
next to
saying
Flex.
that's the same
That's the
shit.
same
I heard.
nigga. Yeah, he
Yeah,
said that at Montebello. He said that at
I
Montebello.
got to the mom. I was like, oh
Yo.
my god, I
Yo.
love this shit.
Yo.
Same rhyme from EPMD.
This shit is amazing.
Yeah, from Headbanger.
Yeah, Headbanger.
was
No,
the-
no,
No.
It was the Rampage. Rampage was the
I
Rampage.
got it going on. Since I'm up next to Flex, you could bet I drop heavy, so girls grab your coat
This
sex.
nigga is sick.
Rampage.
Girl,
Yeah,
drop
Barry,
your
what's
coat-
up?
yeah,
I can't remember the name of the record.
Reggie-
That's the rhyme.
Reggie
That's the rhyme.
That nigga was a
When I
beast.
heard Reggie, I was like, there's nobody
Who
I
is
ever
that?
heard
Yeah,
better.
yeah, I was like, that nigga is.
I didn't even know Reggie was from Jersey.
Yeah, nobody knew.
Hold on,
Nobody
because
knew.
we get on track.
Sorry.
We get on track.
My bad.
Get on track.
That's Queens Euphoria. My bad. My bad.
So
Like,
Cheeks
nigga.
got the deal. Now,
I want to say it kind of was happening at the same time. I was just shooting to be regarded like they was in the park.
right.
No one was on yet. But that night changed everything. And then lo and behold, I got off stage and Chuck was with Irv. And
Irv Gotti? Okay.
I don't call him that, but anyway. Chuck, right. He was with Irv. I was faded. Like I was high, we drank some Danies, I was like gone, nigga. It might even be some Mad Dog 2020 that popped off.
Jesus Christ.
Man.
Or Blackberry Brandy.
Oh,
You know,
man.
back then, if you was fucking with MD, niggas like, you gonna be in a box after that. So I'm tore up completely.
How old are you at this time?
17 going on 18.
So it's happening
18.
fast.
Super
Yeah.
fast.
Okay.
So all I remember is he introduced me to Irv, and somebody was playing one of the beats that niggas always rhyme to. And the nigga Irv was trying to talk to me, and I just grabbed that nigga around his neck or some like, yo, and I just started spitting in that nigga ear, and we was just bopping like this. And that nigga just did that laugh that you know the laugh he do where he know, like, yeah. And he telling me, like, yo, I got a studio, but I remember being like, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I just wanted to
Rap.
rap.
Yeah.
Nigga. It wouldn't have mattered who came up to me.
Right.
But he was talking to me, and he's like, yo, I got a studio, blah, blah, blah. And we was talking, and we was cool. We was chopping it up for a second, and like every other party in Queens at the time, you heard the first clap, clap.
They shot it
Went
out.
down, now niggas is scattering out the gym.
Yeah.
I'm separated from niggas I came with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's why I say like my timeline shit is kinda, it's hard to remember the sequence of events. So
Right.
I just remember him saying come to the studio, and I finally did. And it wasn't too long after the Park Jam shit, after the show at Liverpool, but I started noticing Chuck wasn't there. And Chuck was the nigga that plugged me to Earth.
Right.
So I went and he gave me the beat for Shit's Real. Ended up being the first thing I ever recorded in my life, like literally.
Now, who gave you that beat? Chuck or Irv?
I'm trying to remember which one of them gave me the tape with the beat on it. What I vaguely remember is there came a point where they was at odds with each other. And it had to do with
who
did the beat.
Right.
Now, mind you, I don't know all that shit. I wasn't there when y'all niggas was Pro Tooling, whatever the fuck you did at that time to make a beat. But I do remember Chuck was getting tight. And I ask myself to this day if I can rightfully remember who did Shit's Real. I think it was kind of one of them things where one of them came up with the idea to use Denise Williams, the free samples.
And somebody cut it out.
And the other one was the one that actually constructed the beat.
Who got credit for it on the album?
Irv did.
Okay.
But if I'm not mistaken, I could be, don't get it wrong. I want to say, what I do remember is, I remember like Chucky had like a keyboard that he used to make beats. And I remember Irv had that machine, that
MPC?
Yeah. What I don't remember a lot of is watching Chuck work to make a beat. I remember Irv being on the MPC, because I remember the drums used to annoy me. Like his drums, that's when I started noticing the difference between the MP and the SP. Because I was used to like shit that Large would do where
he's taking the drum pattern from
dirty and you know, and them shits is, the snare doesn't sound like, all Irv shit would sound like wooden soldiers marching, like.
It wasn't humanized?
Huh?
It wasn't humanized? It was too robotic?
Facts. It sounded too...
That's where quantizing and stuff.
It sounded too, like I said, any beat he did, I would picture like wooden soldiers walking like this. The fuck is this? But
that's funny.
He would tell me, and I give him that much. He would always be like, yo, I'm telling you, trust me, rhyme over this. So I would force myself to write to the shit, whatever. And then it would be fucked up because I would go to Large Crib, and that's like the nest. That's what I came up on. So you go to Large Crib, and I'll hear like, nigga, I never forget being on the elevator, and you could hear down the elevator shaft.
Oh my God. It ain't hard to tell.
And me and my brother was like, yo, what the fuck is that?
Crazy.
And we got to the door.
But that's an unfair fight, Large Professor Irv Gotti. Stop it.
Look.
Stop it.
Nigga, you was who you was when you got here. I got shit to do with that. I'm just saying in terms of a nigga hearing music, like...
Yeah, like in comparison.
That's an unfair fight.
Like halftime and...
So why wasn't you getting beats from Large?
I think what Large wanted was... Now, mind you, it's a lot of moving parts in the story, because
Large got a deal.
Right, and now here comes Nas. And Nas ends up moving to our block.
Wasteland.
And he ended up dealing with Carmen. Shout out to Nas, Carmen, all that. But I'm getting to hear all of this shit as it's made. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting nigga, I knew Q-Tip when I was like young. I met Pete Rock. Love you, Pete. Pete, I met through Large, like Gangstar, Buster, Fatal, Akinelli. These the people I'm around when I go to his crib. But the beats I get, like, yo, Large Professor's illest beats the world never got to hear. I mean, I heard shit where I was like,
everybody says
there's
that.
no way in the world.
Everybody, how's that possible?
Again, why aren't you getting these beats?
I'm gonna tell you, because I think with Large, he always looked at himself when it came to me as my big brother, which you are.
Right.
But I think with me, he had like a long term in his mind way that he wanted to cultivate me.
He wanted you to be his artist.
No, I think he wanted me to truly be like on some Like if music was a temple, he wanted me to be a monk in that temple.
Right. But
So
you was
But
still
I'm
hustling.
moving around and I'm
Right.
So now, like Large would tell me stuff. He'd be like, cause he would still think about me DJing. So now I get it, cause I'm older. He would tell me shit like, "Yo, my G, I want you to go and find this record by the Skull Snaps, or this by Bohannon, or this by Mandarin." Like I would know the names of the people that were making the songs that people are sampling.
Right.
Because I would be at his crib. And I would be like, "Yo, so that sample from," it'd be like, "Oh, that's Smilin' Billy Sweet by the Heath Brothers," or, "Yo, what's that? That's," yeah. I remember.
Right.
I remember.
That's deep.
So he would, I don't want to say it this way, cause I can say it now, cause I would get tight, cause I'm like, nigga, I'm not running around the world looking for fucking the golden child like Eddie Murphy, bro.
Right.
Like,
just give me a beat.
Yeah, give me a beat. But he wouldn't.
Yeah.
And then he would do shit like I'd be at the crib, and at that time they had these bulky ass camcorders to record shit. And we had one, my dad got one, so me and my brother would bring the shit to Large crib. So he'd be like, "My G," you know how Large talk, "My G, yo, I want you to, grab the mic, and you hold it, don't cuff the mic, and I want you to rhyme right here." And he'll play a beat that he just did on the, and if you've ever seen Large Professor make a beat,
I've never.
It's like he's a freak of nature on an SP. He don't have to look at the buttons. He could be talking to you, but still be hitting on, I think they call it like truncating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this shit is
on overdrive?
chunk.
Really?
Yeah. So you would hear, all I would hear is the
That's
SP,
some
like,
ill nigga shit.
like
dude.
chunk,
Just like this,
and he'll still be talking to you like, yeah,
without
that's that
skipping
shit.
a beat?
Without, nigga, he could be yelling at me in van, or telling my man Lenny, "Yo, Len, go get that weed from Princess Black, boom, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba, and you'd be like, "Yo, this nigga is fucking crazy."
Oh, man.
So now I'm more tight, because I'm hearing the beats that no one's hearing.
Right. Are you playing what you're doing with Irv to him?
Yeah, but I didn't get there yet because we still didn't, like I remember, I think I let him hear Rough or Shit's Real, or maybe it was one of the other songs we did on a demo, and he would be like, "Yeah, but Mike G, you need that. You know, you're supposed to be Queen's Lounge. Everything gotta be woo-woo, ha-ha, woo-woo. You know how Large is?" So he'd be like, I don't hear it. And I think that was his way of being like, "Nah, you need these beats that we fuck with in here."
Yeah.
But I'm not waiting on anything. And when I'm around Irv and he's guiding me, I'm like, all right, yeah, let me try it this way. Let me do it the way he's telling me. Like, Irv is the first person who taught me about song structure, how to count bars, 2, 3, 4, all of that. He showed me all of that. The importance of a chorus. Everything Mike gotta start with write the song around your chorus. But I couldn't do that as a rapper. Cause I was a freestyle nigga and I just went off of how you felt.
Right.
So to me, I was like, if you gotta teach me how to write a song, I can't start with what my 12th thought is gonna be. I have to start with the same way I wake up at night and hear the words or saw the words. It's whatever came out of my mouth, that was the beginning of the song.
Right.
And I'll just read all of this shit to myself and make it all make sense in a hook. And Irv would always be like, "Nah, you can't do it like that. I'm telling you, Mike, you gotta
structure it this way."
Right. So this is the beginning of the duel between the two schools of production that I somehow, some way ended up being around. And that later would turn into genuine friction.
What was the pros with Large and Irv and the cons? Because you just gave a couple.
I think the cons was he wasn't getting the beats from
Nah, but there's no. I mean, yes, that's a
problem,
that's
my
number
nigga.
one.
You know what it was?
Yeah.
I think the pro with Irv was like, nah, you ready now. You ready now.
Irv was getting you to the paper.
He saw it's something in you that
Right.
beyond the okay.
Large was more like, you're not like everyone else, so I want to water this plant every day. I want to make sure this plant has sunlight. He was more on a, I want you to evolve, but I want you to take your pace at these things. And he also was trying to show me, and I get it now because I'm older, he was trying to show me that, yo, you have the ability to be able to make your own beats because you was a DJ.
Right.
And you have the ability to rhyme. But my dumb ass being young, I'm not looking at it that way. And my time is precious, nigga. I'm still moving these rocks over here on you know what I mean?
Right.
Nigga, that's why I come in this house
I
with
need
Columbias and baby hats with tassels and fresh to death, nigga. I'm not staying in this crib all day, nigga. I got
shit
be
to
back
do.
outside.
Yeah.
But can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Did he do that with Nas?
No.
Because I mean,
I kinda
did he
felt-
want to water? I was wondering, did he have a chance to water Nas like he was trying to water you?
I don't know if that was a dynamic that they had in a relationship, because I would only see his interactions with Nas when Nas would come to the crib. So, you know, someone would come to the crib, yo, what up? You know, roll up, smoke. But I would notice whenever Nas would come in, it would just become about them two. No disrespect, it didn't really bother
So
me.
he was watering Nas then.
There's no one who came to that crib, bro, and he wasn't being Yoda.
Gotcha.
It's no one. I've seen producers come to the crib and not know how they was gonna figure out drum patterns. Like, I seen Q-Tip, I seen Pete, I seen Premier and them come to his crib because they might not be able how to figure out
And he was
that.
shown.
And he would just be like, oh, ha ha, what? You know, ha, woo, boom. And that shit is like an atom bomb.
Yeah.
So I think that's the part that made me the most upset. I'm like, yo, nigga, I'm watching you make atom bombs every day. Where's my atom bomb?
He wanted you to make it.
He wanted me to make
He wanted you to.
Why was it important for him to make it?
Because
though?
he had him on a Kanye West trajectory. What I'm hearing when I'm hearing him say what Large Professor is doing with him is it's one thing to put up an artist in the industry. It's another thing when you think you have an artist who can change the industry around. If you can make your own beats, be a DJ, you come from Graph, you freestyle your ass off, and you're getting rhymes out of your sleep, you don't rush that just to make money. You kind of, when he said he wanted me to be a monk in the house of music, that translates to me to I want you to change shit, not just be a part.
But not only that, he wanted you to love it like he loved it.
And I did, and he knew that.
That's why he was watering that.
What I could definitely say, beyond a shadow of a doubt, there's nothing that he didn't want for me. He just wanted the best for his little brother.
Right.
But I think he wanted it at his pace.
Right.
And
Did he have a problem with you hustling?
I was about to ask that. That might.
yeah, he did. He just had a problem with me. Like, I'll never forget, I came to his crib one day and it was like Brooklyn, Queens Day, and I had a bulletproof on under my shirt. And he was like disappointed in me. And it was mad hot out, but at that time, Brooklyn, Queens Day was always, you had to be on point.
Right.
And flush your metal.
Right.
And Wastelands, we was at war with everybody. Like, We was at war with Left Rack. We was at war with Promenade. We was at war with niggas in the Ville. We was at war with niggas in the Bland. We was at
Some
war
niggas
with
in Southside.
Southside niggas. Like, we was just one stretch of area in Flushing that was at war with everything around us.
Right.
So I came to the, matter of fact, Nas was in the crib too. And I had the bulletproof on, and I told the nigga Large, I was like, yo, let me take this shit off, cause it's mad hot outside.
Yeah.
And he was like, nope. If you wore it, you gonna wear it where we go. Since you wanna wear it. And I could tell that that was his way of being like, okay, if that's where you steering yourself towards,
Right.
nigga, you deal with what you steering yourself towards.
Right.
So that let me know that he was kind of disappointed in me for being outside.
Do you think him trying to slow your pace also, he's known you before you were hustling, now you getting money, you dressing fly. Is he thinking, if he starts seeing success money-wise with this music,
I can't really answer that.
I got, that's,
Yeah,
I feel
because
you.
I don't know.
You too young
if
at that time.
I'm too young at
Yeah.
that time. And not for nothing, I ended up before, like, right while I met Irv, and I'm still dealing with Large and shit, I stopped hustling. But I also ended up catching my first case. Cause again, this is where Nas come into play. I was dating a girl named Paula in Wastelands, and her baby's father broke her nose. And I caught up to the nigga in my old building on Colden, and did a number on this nigga. And like the whole 109, you know over there, 109 is the precinct. So all 109 comes out looking for me. They close off Flushing and Sanford, like where you would cut to go to Main Street.
Yeah.
They was on Casino. They cut the block off from Casino. There was nowhere I could have moved.
You was on foot?
It's fact.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
And mind
And then
you-
because the highway's
Yeah,
over there
my
too.
old building was here. Large buildings here, like literally across from each other. I put the beats on the nigga in my old building, and wasn't really nowhere for me to boogie to.
Boogie, yeah.
And I'm with my man Chief and my cousin John. So at this time now, Nas and Carmen is really dating, and he like lives in the crib or whatever. I'm like, I knew Large wasn't home. I forget how I knew he wasn't home, and Van wasn't around because he was with Large. I'm like, damn. The only place I could go to was Nas' joint. So I run up to the apartment, whatever. The nigga Nas opened the door, he like, yo, what up? I was like, yo, son, I'm jammed up. Just let me come in for a second. And he walked to the window and he looked out the window and he's like, damn, Mike, you did all of that? And I was like, did all of what? And he took his shade like that. And I looked out the window, I was like, oh, son, that's like all 109 in front of my building.
Right.
So I'm like, damn, I'm cooked. I can't go that way. And I'm watching him put the nigga in the ambulance, all that shit. Realest shit the nigga Nas, like to this day, which if I'll tell you how it all makes sense. Nigga Nas looked at me and he was like, yo, I'm gonna go get some weed. Yo, shorty come in, just stay here. You don't answer the door, yo, I'm gonna come right back. And at that time we knew each other and I would say we were acquaintances.
Right.
But I would never expect you to be like, yo, you can stay here, I'm gonna go get weed. Don't
move.
Some real nigga shit,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Real nigga shit.
Yeah.
And then the nigga went, got the weed. I laid low until them niggas cleared out. I watched them put the nigga in the ambulance like I saw all that shit. Nas came back, smoked a little bit, and I went home. Now, he didn't have to do that, because he didn't really know me at that time.
Yeah.
Not to the point where he was like, yo, stay here.
Right.
While he go outside.
Right, while you go get weed. I ain't even
But you was
ask him.
Large man. Right. So he's looking out for somebody who was looking out.
Whether he did it because of that or whether he did it out of the goodness of
It
his
was hard.
or
It was still.
It was still from the goodness of his heart, regardless.
It was still something that I could never forget that you did.
Right.
Like
Because
you
a
had-
lot of niggas wouldn't
Wouldn't
have
have
did
did
that.
that.
Period.
Like, nah,
Period.
bro.
Nah, bro. This where my shorty stayed. Like,
This is her
Yeah.
crib.
Yeah, I can't
like,
even-
Some
nah.
niggas won't even open the
They
door.
wouldn't even open the door.
I
I'm
wasn't
like,
home. I missed it. I was
bitch,
asleep.
walk
All
back
kinds of
slow.
shit.
And I remember praying that someone was there because I was like, I could only maneuver around the staircases for so long before they
close
For they
you in.
nab
catch
you,
me
they
this-
gonna close you in.
he kept me safe. You know, so anyway, I think when we go back to it, like, I just think that with Large, everything had to be what he saw in his mind, and I think the thing was, I couldn't see what you see in your mind, so I don't know the method to your madness.
Right.
With Irv, he's selectively letting me know what the plan is. And with Irv is, well, you fuck with Southside niggas and Hollis niggas anyway, so nigga, that flusher shit is whack. You gotta be on this side, like, we gonna move, we gonna do it.
Right.
And it goes on and on.
Would you think that maybe Large Professor was like, because, you know, I grew up off of him too, he was like positive, you know, and we've been talking about enablers. We was having that conversation, and I would think Irv Gotti would be more of an enabler to the negative. When Large Professor, he's the type that being around him, he is
It's
gonna
funny you
encourage
say that,
to
bro.
the positivity. They was they stand at two
They were polar,
total
like,
different,
polar opposites.
spectrums.
One of the first things I could say I noticed about Irv was, it was about the what happens when the money comes. Yo, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that, we doing this for that.
He had a
And
plan of rolled out for you, money-wise, on how to spend it with that.
Not so much, but I just mean everything was get to the bag. And
Stacking the
when we get the bag, we gonna be on, and when we on,
This is what we
it's
gonna
gonna
do.
be this.
Right.
And that was never my wave. Because my whole thing, nigga, money comes, money goes. I'm in Bayside High School with like $4 in my pocket damn near every day because I hustle, I sell crack. They had this shit called co-op. Like you would work 1 week and go to school 1 week.
Right.
I fucked around and got hired by Bantam Doubleday Dell, which was a book publishing company. They're building in 666 Tishman Avenue.
Yeah.
So I was a young nigga in high school making like 19, 20, anywhere from $22 an hour to, I want to say $25 an hour when I started. So if you take that and add that to the money I'm making outside hustling,
You got a couple dollars.
and
got a
then
budget.
I'm still getting money from the government because my mom's passed away.
You got a
Up
whole
until
budget.
The guys in Bayside lit. So I never gave a fuck about paper.
Right.
I was like, yo, I'm on my fly guy wave. I'm going to get the reverse jam Reeboks with the basketball on it, the Columbia Whirlybird and the Bugaboo joints. You know, but to get to it, I segue because of the gun case. I kind of decided to give all of that up, but because of the shit that happened in the building where Nas kept me safe, the nigga ended up coming to my job that I put the beats on. And I worked at Stearns on Main Street in Flushing. So I'm already adjusting to the fact that I'm deciding I'm gonna change my ways. But now here comes this bitch nigga. At the time, I mean, it's funny how life works. Let me take that back. Here he comes. I can't be mad. We went at it. It went wrong for you.
Yeah.
Nigga, you
Trying to get
Fact.
the get back. Right.
So he comes and I'm behind the register and the nigga flashes the hammer on me. And I'm like, so what you gonna do? You gonna pop me in the store with all these cameras? My dumb ass decides to go home on my lunch break,
And go get a hammer.
go get my hammer, and come back to work.
Oh God. Oh God.
Hold on. This is after he flashed you, and then left.
He left.
So he flashed.
Right.
Hey, I
but
gotta
the
go.
nigga says some shit like,
See you later.
I know what time you get off work.
Oh, so you was like, okay.
All right.
All right, bet.
Yeah, that's different.
All right, cool.
So my dumb ass goes home. I go get the hammer.
Why'd you come back?
He went
'Cause
back
I'm
to work. He went on his
dumb,
lunch
nigga.
break.
What's the line, bro?
His frontal lobe was not developed yet.
No.
Why'd you come back?
Because my ego was like, yo, you gonna let that nigga do that shit?
That's the realest shit right there.
I know we not gonna let that happen.
Ben, we already fucked him
We
up.
already fucked them up, so right. My ego's like, shut up, I drive.
Common sense.
Right.
Shut up, common
Yeah,
sense.
shut
I'm in
up,
charge.
common sense. No, we ain't stopping for no bathroom break. Ego on 100.
Right.
I go, get the hammer, come back to Stearns. Now when you check in, mind you, your backpack, everything, they will have a security desk shit. Again, dumbass nigga. Leave the burner in the bag that I be taking to go to work. Like my clothes, the change, all of that shit. They put the shit in like a
Screen and shit.
Right. No. They just put it in like a locker store.
Oh, okay.
So I finish my shift. It doesn't even dawn on me. The niggas behind the counter doing the security shit where everybody's personal belongings is. Doesn't dawn on me that I've never seen these niggas before. None of that dawns on me. Doesn't dawn on me it's not the regular chick who gives you your shit when you leaving out of to go home.
Right.
It's two white boys.
Right.
And they older looking. So I change, I put my camel joints back on, my field jacket, all this shit. I'm changing out of my Peabody outfit for work or whatever.
Right.
And out of Walkman, I'll never forget, I was getting ready to leave. And nigga said, yo, you forgot your Walkman. And I was like, oh shit, that's right, thank you. That was one of the texts from 109. So as soon as I came out the side entrance of Stearns and they knew I had the bag on me and they knew the hammer was in the bag.
How they know the hammer was in the bag?
Somebody must have went in the
Bag.
and called them while I'm working.
So they took your bag and locked it up, but they be looking through niggas shit, basically.
Right, and they was waiting for me to come up because they didn't know what employee had the gun in the bag.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
So when I'm walking out, I got the book bag on. It was like a dumpster, one of them big ass like steel dumpsters,
Yeah,
whatever.
green joint.
I walk out and I don't even see these niggas. I just feel the force of these niggas behind me, picking me off my feet. Niggas said, doom, I hit the dumpster. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I'm trying to spin on niggas to see what it is. When I turn around, they like, yo, get on the ground, get on the ground, get on the ground. Do you have anything else that's gonna hurt us? So I was like, wow,
Gotcha.
I'm jammed up.
Yeah.
You was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have beat that case easy, but you know you wasn't an adult, so you
Right,
didn't know
so-
the game.
My dad comes to 109 precinct, whatever. And like I said, God bless, he was, he was on the job. So they knew I wasn't telling the whole story of what happened. Like I could at least say that I knew enough not to say anything.
Yeah, good, yeah.
So I didn't speak or tell them the story or any of that. My father came. And I remember my dad talking with one of the officers, and he told my father, he said, this doesn't add up because you have a good kid. So he's not telling us something. And as he's doing that, another detective, I guess, was trying to get me to talk, and I never forget my pop stopped him. He's like, don't do that. If anyone's gonna roll my son, I'll roll my son. I didn't even know what that meant.
Yeah.
But I just remember my dad being like, don't do that, I'll roll him. Like, but he came, them niggas bought me pizza from Gloria's on Main Street, like a whole pie in the cell. I ate all that shit, but my nigga. But he couldn't get me out.
Did you ever think that Maybe homeboy told him that you had a gun?
It didn't dawn on me. All I was concerned about was, yo, this nigga's flashing on me.
Right.
And I done beat your ass up. Nigga, I'm gonna let you have it when when all this shit is over with. That's the one thing I could say. I think subconsciously, because I never addressed everything I've gone through, I think a part of me deep down was always looking for an opportunity. Like, if the world gave me a reason, then I'm just 0 to 100.
Yeah. To release your tension or to get even?
Nah, just to release it.
Okay.
I think a little of both. And I was a little nigga, bro, so I wasn't having nobody pick on me.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't going through that. And I'll never forget, my dad was like, you can't come out, and it was like one of the realest things I ever heard my dad say to me. He's like, yo, you do whatever you have to when you get where you're going. And it kind of scared the shit out of me, but it kind of also was like, wow, for my dad to tell me that, he's like giving me a green light, like if anything pop off, nigga, between now and the moment they call your name in front of a judge, like,
handle your business.
Handle your business.
Right.
And long story short, God is good. I never forget, there was a legal aid named Stella Sinners. If you out there, Stella Sinners, shout out to you. He got them to where they was just like, yo, you got 5 years probation.
Wow.
Just probation.
Maybe because he should have beat it like you said.
And you know what's wild?
You
know what's wild?
Easy beatable case.
Right.
They were arguing because I was on the cusp of, like, I think going on like maybe 19 or 18, if I was gonna be charged as an adult or if I was a juvenile. And not only that, that's when the one in the chamber law came into play. And I had one in the head. So I remember my pops was tight because he was like, you fucking bird brain, you should have left the clip. If you're gonna be an idiot, you should have left the clip out of the gun.
Yeah.
Right.
Your dumbass, you had one in the chamber.
Yeah.
And I remember he's like, you don't know what intent is? You fucking bird brain, you know what intent is? Well, this says you intended to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Right.
So, by the grace of God and Stella Sinners, and the fact that I've never really been in no trouble, they was like, yo, you got probation. Just make sure you report. And I had to go see my PO, Selborn Reed, nigga. Like, that's what it was.
Right.
So now back to Irv. I remember telling Irv I caught the gun charge, and he was like, nah, Mike, you ain't gonna go do no real time. He's like, how old are you? What you did? Nah, they probably gonna give you, like, if anything, you might get 6 months. And I'm just looking at this nigga like, you don't even look like the nigga that could break all this shit down to me, but okay, cool.
Right.
So he's just telling me, don't worry about that. Focus on what we doing. Which I kind of respect, but I don't, because he didn't really care how it was gonna go, I don't think. It was just stay on target.
Stay focused.
Right, and I can't write.
But that's some people's way of like dealing with stuff. Like, what's the point of you worrying? You don't know what's going to happen till it happens.
Yeah, fact.
So in the meanwhile, just keep working.
And that's what
He's also not invested in you in a personal level the same way Large P is, though. He didn't grow up with you.
No, he was never invested in me on a personal level like that. And the reason I say that is because the plan, never would he tell me the plan. Meaning, like, we're doing this, so this leads to this, and this leads to that, and you should know this, so that. The worst thing with me as a person is not to fill me in, not to tell me.
Large P wouldn't tell you the plan, or
Irv
wouldn't tell you the plan?
Did you ever figure out
He said
the
Irv
plan?
was telling him bits and pieces. He said he was telling Irv was telling him
what?
bits and pieces as he went along.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Did you ever figure out what his plan was, or get a large scale of what he was intending to do?
Probably Ja Rule.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that.
No, he
I
said
don't think
that
it
Ja Rule
started
was
to
absent.
dawn on me.
Hold on, listen.
until after, because I didn't initially meet Rule and X and Hov. I really started to, I'm trying to remember when I exactly, Rule I can remember the day I met, and I remember the minute we met. We was like birds of a feather.
That's when he was in Cash Money Click?
Right. Him, and it wasn't even Chris Black yet. Chris Black wasn't rhyming yet.
It was him and O?
It was him and O. It was him and Otha. Shout out to O1.
Otha.
So it was Rule and O, but the minute me and Rule met, we clicked. So the minute me and Rule met, nigga, I would go to that nigga crib and stay over there for the weekend at Woodhall, and you know now.
And Hollis.
Right, and I met Black Child, and I want to say Tariq, and all these people that was Tariq, that the people that was around him. That's when I started to meet them, like his cousin Rich and all of them.
His nephew, ain't it?
Yeah.
Or his uncle.
Yeah, one of the two,
like
whatever
that.
it was, but
Right.
me and Rule clicked. And me and O was mad cool. And I knew they rhymed. And
Did you hit, when the first time you heard Ja Rule rhyme, what'd you think?
I was impressed. I was like, yo, I like his flow and I like his voice. And O kinda was like, I was like, yeah, he kinda got it.
Right.
You know, and then I remember one night we was in the studio where we did Shit's Real, and we ended up doing some song called Represent, nigga. And it was the beat that Snoop used. It was the break to the Gin and Juice shit, like the original break where they got that from. I think it's I Get Lifted by George McCrae, I want to say. And Irv looped it up, and at that time, if you threw that on, I could rhyme for days. I just was in love with that beat, so we ended up doing this shit, Represent, nigga, Represent, and it came out hot.
Right. But so he didn't have to throw a drum pattern on it. He just looped it.
No, he just looped it. He just looped it like.
Mad niggas just looped though, man.
Yeah, it didn't take much then, cause, and those drums on the I Get Lifted joint, you don't really have to fuck with them. Like, especially if you take there's a certain version of it, like the version that Dre chose to use for Gin and Juice. You don't gotta do nothing with it. You just gotta count out the bars and loop it, and you lit.
Right.
And I just enjoyed rhyming with him. And then later on, he would talk to me about DMX, and he's like, "You never heard of this dude DMX? He got a song called Born Loser."
DMX the
I never
Great.
even heard Born Loser.
What?
At that point, I hadn't heard.
Oh, right,
Born
right,
Loser.
okay.
Hov I knew because I remember Original Flavor had the Can I Get Open, you know it, Can I Get Open. And I knew Hov from the Originators with Jazz.
Right.
And I liked the Originators when it came out, so I was like, oh, you mean the nigga that's rhyming with Jazzo? So he's telling me, but it's still not dawning on me that he fucks with all these different people. I didn't even know that he knew Large. Irv knew Large.
Right.
Because he went on tour with Jazzo.
Right.
And somehow, some way, I think they was on tour, and I think Nas and Jay-Z did something like I think before Hov got on, he was on tour, and that's where the whole Keep a Tech 9 on my dresser, all that shit came from that.
Right.
So,
I showed you your first tech on the tour with Large Professor.
yeah.
Then I heard the rhyme about your tech on the dresser.
Right.
But while all this shit is unfolding, I'm like, life is weird, my nigga.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You understand what I'm saying? So anyway, now we do Shit's Real, and I never forget I played this shit for Large and Nas. They was like two of the first people to ever hear Shit's Real. And Nas was actually the person that made me feel like, okay, maybe, just maybe, this is all gonna work. Cause I remember Nas, we did a song called Hemming Heads, and we sampled Nas, the fucking man, and we just, like, I don't really like that shit with me on it. But yo, that shit's real shit. That shit should be on the radio like tomorrow. And I was like, that's crazy, nigga. This is the snuffing Jesus person telling me like, your shit should be on.
Yeah.
And that was it, bro. The next thing I know, that nigga called Hype, Irv. He called Hype.
So you was with Blunt already? Did you sign
No,
with Blunt?
not
okay.
even yet. When we did Shit's Real, we had no deal.
Oh, shit.
Were you on the contract with Irv?
No.
Handshake?
No contract.
Handshake.
Handshake. Okay.
He hadn't, as of that time, he hadn't yet
done nothing.
Presented that to me. And mind you, I really don't even know that part of music. I don't know what a production deal is. I don't know that versus a major deal. I don't know none of this shit, bro. Like, I'm just rhyming.
Right.
And fucking, Irv was like, yo, I'm gonna press this shit up. And I was like, how we gonna do that? And he's like, I'm gonna figure it out. And I think it was Chris or Tina that gave him the money.
His brother and sister.
Yeah. And the next thing I know, we pressed this reel up. It was a black, like, single with silver writing on it.
How many copies?
I couldn't even tell you, bro. It wasn't a lot. It was, but it was enough, I think, to get us...
To the DJs?
Yeah. And then,
Hurry up, man. Get on the hold this shit.
that shit started popping.
It popped. Boom.
Boom. And then the next thing I know, he called Hype. And Hype came with this little ass camera like this. He's like, we doing a video. And I was like, word. And I was thinking it's gonna be a big, and it was just this little camera like this. And we did Shit's Real. And once we got that shit on the box.
The box.
That nigga just had people every day.
Wasn't the box or video? Oh, the box.
The
when you
jukebox.
buy it.
There was a jukebox.
Yeah.
And you would have to call it and punch in a 3-digit code.
I remember that.
So
And you said
he had mad niggas, I guess, calling the box. And I had all the niggas on coding calling the box.
Trent said the same thing.
And the next thing you know, that shit was on like every 2 seconds, bro. Like, and then the next thing I know, like, my mom's is like, yeah, Michael, like shit, like some guy named Big Joe is calling you, or she was trying to say Fat Joe.
Fat Joe?
Yeah. Right. Or some guy named Search just called here looking for you, and my phone starts ringing, and it, like, we was going to the clubs and giving the shits to the DJs. That nigga Irv would make me go to every single nightclub, go in, give them the 12-inch Shit's Real, and I would say
Was the DJs receptive at that time?
Yo, I would say the same thing to each of them. I'd be like, yo, my name Mike Geronimo, this is my song. I'm gonna give it to you. If you like it, all I'm asking you to do is play it. If you don't, break that shit over your knee and you never see me again. And I said that to everybody. And I don't know what he was saying to people when he would, cause that nigga was a madman. He'll sleep in front of Hot 97 knowing that Ed and Dre were gonna come to Hot 97 at 4 in the morning, knowing Flex was, so he was working it that way.
Right.
And the next thing I know, bro, he says it was Flex, but in my memory, I recall us going to BLS. I remember Ron G was on the air. And I think he was interviewing Father MC, and we gave him the song, and they was like, yeah, we about to get into the new joint by Father MC, and the next thing we just heard, voop, 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 and we was in the tunnel, the Holland Tunnel. And that nigga got out of the car and got in the middle of the lane of the Holland Tunnel and just was like this, in front of the car.
Irv?
Yeah, on his knees. And I was just like, I was just sitting in the passenger seat like catatonic, nigga, like, oh shit, I'm on the radio.
Everybody just
What?
heard this
I
shit.
got home, my brother was lit. My cousin Reb, them niggas was wildin'. They was like, yo,
Did Large P call you?
nah, he didn't call me.
What was your pops? Did he know what was going on?
Nigga, my father's first words.
What was it?
You gonna laugh.
Come on.
Nigga, that nigga heard the record. That nigga looked at me and was like, so where's the check?
That's some shit my father would say. That's some shit that my father would say, well, where's the check?
Yeah, my mom said that shit too.
It's lit, but where the money?
Oh, you gave me a new car? My mom would have been like, give me a Rover, right?
My mom's, I can honestly say, like, my mom, I love my mom. My mom's, my stepmom, like I said, that's my mom.
You get it?
She was so happy, bro. Like, she just kept kissing my forehead and hugging me, and she was like, oh. And then, like, that nigga Irv called, like, I remember, like, the day or two after. Because I think we was going to Hype's crib, which is why we was in the Highland Tunnel.
Yeah.
And I remember Irv calling the next day, and he was like, nigga, you don't understand, we on. And that was the start of me being scared to death of, well, what is being on me?
The success?
Why were you scared?
Oh.
I think, yeah, like, I was always scared of success, bro. I don't know why that is. Like, I just didn't know what it would mean. You know, and then, all my community at the fort, the army, they was all proud of me, and now everything's changing, the phone's ringing, and this one's looking for me, and that one's looking for me, and I don't know how these people are getting my number, and Irv is telling me shit like, yo, I spoke to this one, like Sony and all these other labels, and my life like literally changed in 24 hours, bro.
After it played on the radio.
Yeah, it was on from there, bro.
How'd I get the blunt and Sony and all that was calling you?
And when did that Ralph McDaniels video thing that they did on
The
you?
EPK?
Yeah, when did that come through?
That was when we was with TVT, with Blunt. At that point, when the EPK came out, I'd already signed, but to go where you going, like I said, he wouldn't tell me everything. So I knew labels was interested, but I didn't know, you know, like, I didn't know it was as many as it was or none of that. I just know Irv would be like, yo, we gonna talk to this label or this label, and I would just be like, cool. And I think it was Wild Pitch. There was something like 4 to 5 labels interested. I remember, what I do remember is going to Wild Pitch, and this is when Main Source had kinda changed. Like, I think Mikey D became like what Large was to Main Source. And their mom was their manager. And the day we was meeting with, I think his name is Stu Fine, that owned Wild Pitch. We went to see him, and the Main Source niggas got in a physical fight with Stu and Search, and somebody pulled a knife out, and me and the nigga Irv is like watching this shit like, I don't think we want to be at this label. We good.
Over what?
I don't know what they what they was fighting about.
But this was during your meeting?
Yeah, we didn't even, like, Stu had us in a waiting area. And we just heard boom, bash. And I kept noticing this cute girl at the desk. And I was like, yo, Irv is checking her out. And in my head, I was like, he probably gonna, like, get her. I'm not gonna say nothing, whatever will happen. But, yeah, so the fight broke out, and the girl, she's like, oh, don't worry about none of that, it'll be fine, da-da-da-da-da-da. My name is Milky, blah-da-da-da-da, blah. So, I don't know, it's funny where life takes you.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So they have the fight, whatever. One of the Main Source niggas with the dreads was like, telling you, you're not gonna want to side here. So I was like, Irv, I think you got a point. I'm not gonna want to side here. So we left, And then we end up with meeting Steve at TVT.
Steve Gottlieb.
Steve Gottlieb. And it was a really good meeting. And I felt good.
What made it good? What made it?
We just automatically, like, talking with Steve and Vera, like, it just felt natural. It felt like this was where I was supposed to be.
He was comfortable.
He was young at the time, right?
Mm-hmm. And he was all like, oh, you know, we have this new label and we really want to get behind you and you can trust us and I want this to be like your home. And it just felt good. And then Search called me. And I think in hindsight, this was like one of the first things that let me know, like, maybe Irv realized he maybe fucked up or something by not putting paper in front of me, like a deal or whatever in front of me. Because Search called my crib. Like I said, and my mom, she don't know no better. Michael, there's someone named Searching For. And I was like, who's searching for? Or Surd, or Surf, or what the hell are you talking
She said
about?
searching for.
Or Surf, or, and the search is like, yo, I got $15,000 for you, and I know you like that long Lexus that, like, I think Keith Murray had like a long Lexus or some shit like that.
SC.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And he knew I liked the coupe or whatever. He's like, yo, come up here and I'm gonna give you $15,000 right now. And I called Irv, I think. And Irv was like, Mike, don't go anywhere without me. Don't leave your house, don't answer your phone, don't go to no meeting. I'm coming over right now. But I in his voice, I heard like the urgency, but I didn't understand
Why? Right.
And I was like, I'm just telling you, he called.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like I was intending to go there. I was like, yo, he got it. But he said 15,000.
And a Lexus.
And a Lexus. So I'm like, that nigga came to my crib quick. Like, no, don't do that. I was like, I wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the day that he probably said to himself, I need to give him
some sort of paperwork. Yeah.
And I wouldn't have dipped on him at all.
Right.
I felt comfortable with Irv.
Yeah, he putting
He don't know
work.
that.
But he doesn't know. And why he didn't feel that way, I don't know. Now that I'm older, I think it's because other people must have been talking to him and being like, yo, you need to have this nigga.
Paper.
Right.
Right.
Or he thought to himself, if I was Mike Geronimo, what would I do?
But Mike Geronimo ain't even thinking about none of this shit.
He's not, you two aren't, that's not the point.
Right, I see
9
what
times
you
out of
said.
10, when somebody accuses you of doing something, the only reason that thought came in their head is because it's what they would have done if they were in your shoes.
You saying he would have took the 15 and the...
No, I'm saying he would have ran out on the guy who put him in position.
He would have asked him for more than 15. He would have said, give me 50.
No, you're not
I'm
hearing
out.
me. I'm not saying that Irv would have gone for small change or a small deal or small money. I'm saying in a position where
Opportunity.
I broke you and I don't have any paperwork on you. You're not legally held to me. You can break out and go sign someplace more lucrative.
If you wanted to.
If you wanted to. And because that's where my mind goes first, oh shit, this nigga might dip.
Yeah.
You're probably hearing that in his voice when he's calling.
Right.
Now fast forward, and so I think it was right before we were getting ready to sign to TVT. Now I start hearing the you need to sign the production thing or whatever. I think that's when he first presented the production deal.
Right.
And my father was the one who was like, hold on, wait a minute, kid. Hold on. The business you're in is very this, very that. Blah. And so my cousin George ended up becoming my manager. That's part two I'll get to why. So George explains to me, he's like, look, if you sign with TVT, then whatever you're rightfully entitled to, you never have to question because the money comes from TVT and you get paid what you're owed. If you sign to Herb's production, TVT doesn't have to give you anything.
They pay the
They
production.
give it to Herb.
Right.
He could give you $50,000, he could give you $10,000, he could give you no $1,000. It's solely up to him.
Right.
So my parents, they just being parents. You know, they like, yo, and the best thing for you to do, according to what you're being told,
It's on the TVT.
is to sign a TVT.
Right.
And every day now that I'm with Irv, yo, you gonna sign yet? I was like, yo, I just need a little more time to think about it.
But
And
you already decided, right?
No,
No?
I was truly caught between, because I knew what Irv did for me.
Right.
And I also knew what my parents were saying and what my manager, George, was saying at the time, who's my cousin.
Right.
They looking out for their child and their cousin,
Right.
Their family.
their family. He's looking like, yo, I'm the one who pressed the record. I'm the one who ran around. I'm the one who slept in front of the radio station. And these are things I didn't forget. And mind you, even though I'm being instructed to do what would probably be best,
Right.
there's still a lot of me that it was the worst feeling in the world, bro. Like
Yeah.
it made all of the good shit that happened with me and
Stress
nigga.
you out.
Did you ever ask him to alter his contract so that
Never.
Well, who'd you sign with?
That's the key, because this is the genesis of where we are now. So we went somewhere, and I remember we were starving, and the nigga Irv, bro, like, we'll go to the studio. Oh, I'm skipping shit, because this was shit I didn't really dig. But I would tell myself, y'all are not lifelong friends, so you can't feel no way.
right.
Like I said, I stopped hustling, whatever. After the gun charge, like, you forget working in Stearns or anywhere else, nigga.
Right.
I'm rock, but I still am going to the studio, so, nigga, it'd be times I was starving and be like, yo, like, let me get $5 so I could get, like, Chinese food or whatever across the, nah, I don't got it. Or I'd be like, wow, okay, cool. Or I'd be like, yo, could I stop at the weed spot before we go? Nah, that's dope head shit. Not stopping in the weed spot. And it just became like, when you with me, you go in the studio and then you go home. No, I'm not helping you in no other way other than that. And that kind of had me like, And I started noticing my brother and them, they wasn't really feeling his vibe when he would come around.
Right. Because you wasn't signing the contract. Okay.
No, they was just off being around a nigga.
Yeah.
Like, people out there would be like, I don't like this nigga.
His energy probably changed. His energy was changing towards you.
Right, so now, here's the moment. We finished running around the city, doing something related to it all. And my mom's like, y'all hungry? And then I was like, Mom, I'm starving. So she made us dinner and we at my in the crib eating, and we go into his car.
Herb's car.
Right. And he's like, yo, man, why you letting everybody tear us apart? Like, why you letting people? I'm like, I'm not. I'm just asking you for a couple more days to decide and think, and then I'll have the decision. And in my head, at that point, I think I was ready to deal with whatever might come with me not directly signing the TVT. I was actually leaning more towards signing a Top Dog, his production company. And I forget what was said, but the nigga ended up saying some shit to me like, see, I knew I should have just made you sign it, like niggas told me to. And when he said that, I kind of was like, oh, you think I'm some sort of day room bird ass nigga that you could make do? Which I was like, first of all, you know how to make nobody do anything person. But I was just in shock that he would go from, yo, Mike, we on, to, see, I should have just made you. And when he said that,
He was worried.
I'm like, yo, my mom's just, nigga, you
Fed
won't
you.
even give me $2 to go buy Chinese food across the street.
Right.
My mama just cooked this food and you ate at my table and you gonna bring me downstairs and talk to me about what you should have made me do?
Yeah.
That's a little crazy. That's a little crazy right there.
But
And I asked myself, I'm like, were you just too sensitive when you heard what you heard? And I was just like, no, that was some fucked up shit to say.
Right.
So after he said that to me, I was like, man, nah, I'm not signing with you. I didn't say that to him, but in my head I was like, nah, I'm good, because if you do and act this way now, how can I be certain that you're gonna give me anything you're supposed to give me when you get hit from that?
Right.
You won't eat, like I said, you nigga, I'll be in here stomach growling at Diner Dog Studio. And nigga, you
Yeah, I think that he kind of played it wrong. I would have been feeding you. If that taking
Yeah, but they were both, everybody was young too, man.
We was all young.
Everybody was
everybody's
young.
young.
He's young. Everybody was young, and nobody had no experience really.
No, we're
for
not
getting deals. It's a tough
honestly,
situation.
he was nervous.
He was definitely nervous. He should have been nervous.
Yeah,
like
he got every reason
I
to
slept in
panic.
front of Hot 97.
I did all the work.
I borrowed money from my family
to get it
I'm
going.
under pressure. I would imagine
So somebody
not
was
taking
in
up his
his
he
ear
under
like,
pressure.
yo, he might run.
Nigga,
My nigga, you should have signed this nigga so we could get my money.
No, hold. Somebody said to Irv, how the fuck did you do all this shit, spend all this money, and you
And
don't
ain't
have this
signed
nigga
them.
on papers?
Facts.
Are you fucking
On top of that,
retarded? Like,
think
you
about this.
sound crazy.
He's not even a rapper. So his talent is intangible. Like Mike. Whatever happens to Mike, Mike can go somewhere.
Yeah, you
As
still,
a producer,
he's right.
can you get
Like,
another Mike Geronimo? So people like, yo, you putting all this shit in. If that nigga walked, now what?
You
And back then, rappers wasn't plentiful back then. It wasn't like like now. Rappers is everywhere.
Falling out the sky.
And you can buy
And this is
one.
Mike Geronimo, 17 years old, killing it in Bayside. He on the radio now. Search, everyone call
But
it.
again, I'm not
trying to
seeing
defend.
any of
Yeah.
this
No,
just
from
No, we're
your
just
angle,
giving
yeah.
context.
There'll be
From your
some other
angle,
variables.
I'm a kid,
Why he,
bro.
no,
Listen,
we say
man.
why he's desperate.
Yeah.
Like,
You know,
yo, somebody
whether it's
just
right or
called
wrong.
my house. Yo, how did they even have this nigga's number? Somebody just called my house, offered me bands and a car. Oh my God, I don't have this kid signed. He could sign any of these things. He's still a kid. I put in all this work breaking him the songs on the radio, my whole heart. Got me out in the middle of the highway, so fucking thankful,
And
and
honestly,
he can bounce
I
it
don't,
any
I don't
second.
knock him for feeling that way.
Yeah.
I can't knock him for feeling it. Because at the end of the day, bro, you did.
Right.
But-
But he let his emotions
But
get
he
the best
let,
of him.
right.
Yeah.
And then when he said what he
This shit is
said,
emotional.
he said it in a kind of way where I'll run through you. And I'm looking at the nigga like, bitch nigga, I wish the fuck you would.
Right.
And like I said, my mama just cooked food for you. Like, now I'm ready to fuck you up.
Right.
And I could tell me and you don't move the same. Like, I don't know what he thought.
Right.
And then it would also be little shit too, bro. Like, he might have like nickels in them niggas around me or whatever. And them niggas would say little fly shit like, oh, you live on an army base. I'm like, your niggas is nerds, bro. Don't think cause I sleep here that I'm like some like anomaly in the world where I'm just a nerdy ass nigga that knows that. Nigga, I be out fucking side. I sleep here. Don't talk to me like I'm some clown, bro.
Right.
But I could already pick up on little signs of
Funny shit.
arrogance.
Yeah.
Arrogance, I definitely was detecting, and I was like, but after he said that, I was like, nah, I'm gonna sign with TBT. And he didn't really, I don't recall him being like, that's fucked up, none of that shit. I just recall him like, nigga, you, next thing I know, you a A&R at TBT.
He parlayed it.
Yeah, I'm like, You
good.
You an A&R here now.
Because
I didn't
the
even know
legend-
that they offered him that or none of that shit. This shit, people gotta understand this. All of this shit was 0 to 100, bro.
Fast.
The
How
next-
old are you when that happened?
Like 18, going on 19.
Damn, bro. This
like
is
a year. It's
bro.
like
He said it was having
years
like because the
straight.
legend was that
The
Irv
legend.
Gotti was there and he signed you to the label as the A&R.
He
That's
he
what the
was
legend
there.
was. So was he there the whole
was a
time and you
kid
didn't
named
know?
Will Fulton, who was a white boy that brought us to TVT. I can't accurately say when Irv became an A&R, but the day that fucking they took the picture for Billboard and I had to hold up whatever it was.
He was there already.
He was there. It's not like I signed with TVT and fuck you, bro. You was right there.
Did that make you think that was part of it? It's one of his plans that he never told you?
At that point, everything made me feel that way. But you gotta bear in mind, I still fuck with Rule. I fuck with X. I'm making music. So I'm just rolling with the punches. And I'm never expecting you to, for lack of a better way to put it, change up or flip. And the parts that I'm not seeing, I don't see what he is when he's around Hoffa and them niggas at Rockefeller. I don't see what he is when he's around D&Y and them niggas and X and them at Rough Riders. So again, I don't know that there's this whole thing happening where he's like, okay, the next wave is this and the next person is him. And it's not dawning on me. I'm still trying to adjust to the fact that yesterday I was taking a system cab. Nigga, this morning there's a limo in front of my fucking crib, bro.
All right, here's a question. Was you're the first artist that he got someplace, right?
Yeah, landed. Yeah, absolutely.
So it all started from you.
Yeah. I was the genesis. And then through me, like I heard this fucking bird brain say some crazy shit like, yeah, I only did 2 songs. You could have did 15, you could have did 80, you could have did 1 million. It's not like when I signed with TVT, I was like, yo, man, fuck that nigga. Large is doing my whole album. Fuck that dude. Pete's doing my... I didn't fucking say that.
Right.
What I said was, good, I want to work with my niggas too. And I'm still looking at him like, you the one who controls the layout of this album. I don't know this shit. Y'all
He was
niggas
your
don't-
A&R.
Yeah. So I'm looking at Irv like, even if he wasn't my A&R, I was still looking at you, bro, like you the one who's like, whatever moves you say make, that's
I'ma
what we
make those
doing.
moves.
But I want to fuck with Large.
Can I ask you a question? Being that you didn't know he had the job there already, you think he could have took it as you was gonna sign there and leave me behind, but I happen to be in position to still work with you?
I wasn't thinking of none of, I'm trying to tell you as uncut and nigga. I'm not paying attention to none of this shit. All I know is if I want weed now, guess what I could go fucking do? Go buy weed. If I want some J's or whatever, guess what I could go fucking do now?
Go buy some J.
I'm not, and I'm like still saying to myself, yo, how did all of this happen? I wasn't looking for none of this shit. It's not like I was the nigga who was standing there who was like, yo, I'm gonna be MC Gusto one day and watch the world to see. Nigga, I ain't give a fuck about none of that shit. I was just like, yo, this is what I do for some strange reason.
So it was never really your passion. You put energy into it.
I put energy into it, but I think it was it. Just like, yo, fuck with me.
The culture was the passion, not the business.
Exactly. So I'm not looking at it the way he sees it.
Yeah, business fucks up a lot of
That's
creative
why Large
people.
Pro
man.
wanted him to be the way he was.
Yes.
Because the culture was the passion, not the business. Irv's passion was the business.
Yes.
Right.
to get him out there, get him seen, let him
now,
paid, let's go up. Large wanted to cultivate the music. He was like, let the music speak for you.
And you'll
that's
become
what
what
I
you
was
will.
Gotta
used
build
to.
a man before you get to the money, and people
That's what he was thinking.
forget that. We live in a system now where it's everybody keep promoting just get the money instead of building up the person.
Cultivate.
If you have
Me,
a
my
record label,
nigga, I
build
never
them
get,
up.
like I said, I never gave a fuck about
And he
none of
was
these
young.
things other niggas cared about. I didn't care about, yo, now I could get broads. Nigga, I was fucking broads, like in Bayside, chilling wherever I was.
Right.
I didn't care about, yo, now I could, nigga, I was fresh to death before we got here.
Right.
I didn't care about, yo, when I get the car, never forget this nigga would be like, nah, Mike, you be wasting your money on like gear and shit. You gotta get the car. When you get the car, bitches fuck with you. Nigga, bitches fuck with me now.
Right.
I don't have your problem. What do you mean?
Yo, why everybody put their head down?
But if you gonna call a spade a spade, my nigga, if you gonna call a spade, that wasn't my problem.
Right. Uh-oh, Geronimo.
I was
We having fun, man.
I know, right, we having fun. But you gotta understand, nigga, I'm running around with Large at them like 17 years old, 16, in the red zone. Or in fucking, I'm in clubs in the city as a fucking 11th grader, bro.
Advanced, like you said.
Advanced. So all this shit you talking about, I'm like, what? Nigga, that's Fridays for us. And guess what? We'll take a train home and be lit all the way on a train, my nigga.
Still getting broads.
We used
What?
to do, yeah, that
I'm
used
on
to
the
be
7 with the blink in the Columbia jacket, like, nigga, we good. Give a fuck about what you talking about. So all this shit he's pointing out, I'm like, yo, bro, I don't have these problems.
Right.
Now we fast forward and we moving in, and now we do time to build and all that.
How's the relationship
What, with me and him or me and him?
with you and him? Is it on Let's Make a Classic album, or when you do these records with Large, are you bringing it to him for
I think we were
feedback?
still kind of. I think we were still in a place where we could vibe and talk, and there's jokes, we laugh, we, you know.
Right.
Yeah, because now he got the MPV. And now it's me, him, Rule, Chris, fucking O, going to go do some, yo, right here, 2nd Ave. Yo, why don't you let us get the lands for, nah, y'all niggas is dope heads. Y'all niggas is dope heads. I ain't stopping for no weed. But that's now how we all moving.
But now he's on Drink Champs.
Tom, I'm gonna get to all of this.
Okay. My fault.
No. I'm laying
Talking
the
about Papa
breadcrumbs.
Ecstasy and shit.
I'm
Oh,
laying,
God, yeah, that's
I'm
crazy,
laying
yo.
breadcrumbs.
Laying the bread.
I'm laying
I apologize.
breadcrumbs.
I'm jumping in.
So that once it gets to, I'm laying the breadcrumbs.
Got you.
We was dope heads for wanting weed. That's what he would call us. And me and Rule would be like, nigga, what do you think? Like the weed police are gonna just single out your vehicle and fucking, and don't let it be where it's me and Flush and Wastelands niggas, cause now that I'm starting to see the tension between niggas I came up with and a set of niggas he be around. Cause now he's coming to Wastelands and he's picking me up and he'll have like the suck, Mike. Like, you know that face he do, and he'll look at niggas I'm with and be like, yo, come on, nigga, let's go where we going. And I feel I just feel like
The
arrogance?
The arrogance.
Okay.
The arrogance.
And
Did he change after the situation?
he changed when, yeah, I could rightfully say that. Like he started to, cause now it's turning, he'll have like a broad with him in the car and this is such and such. And, yo, I'm like, okay, you bossing up, I get it. You know, like, I see little things I wasn't really seeing before.
Right.
But it's not bothering me. Like, I'm not, and again, it's not on my radar. I'm just trying to adjust to this new.
He's
like,
more successful now.
Right. Gotcha.
And I'm not mad at that.
He's successful
You got
at
a
that
new
time.
normal.
But I'm noticing too how he's treating, like, I think it was Baby J or Bink, one of the two. And he just said something one day where I was kind of like, wow, bro, I wouldn't even know these niggas if it wasn't for you, so how was you talking to these niggas this way? I can't remember exactly what it was, but these was the niggas from his block, not like when he would go get like Nichols or Homo and them niggas or whatever. Like, I met Ham, Gan, all them YG niggas I met through this nigga. Now the nigga will come get me and this such and such, and this is such and such, and this is such and such. And I could tell it's a different type of person.
Right.
It's a more deliberate kind of person or people you'll have me around now. And these niggas wasn't around in the beginning.
Was that the influx? Because we all saw the television show, the Supreme Team shit. Was that around the time when Supreme came home and he was fucking with Irv at that time?
Now enters that. That's truly where he started changing. Like, I remember it was an instance where, God bless my man Bink, I met Bink through Irv. I wouldn't even have known Bink if it wasn't for Irv. Bink and them niggas start like Baby J, because at this point, Baby J used to be my DJ. And he's like, nah, not no more. So Baby J was irate at Irv.
Irv became your DJ?
Yeah, he's like, we not doing the Baby J thing no more. And Taliki, I remember Taliki from his block, we got cold. But now all of these niggas is calling me, like, yo, why's your man acting X, Y, and Z, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So they telling me they upset with how he moving.
Right.
Something happened with Bink. This is when Preem came home. And Bink must have said some shit like, yo, this nigga's changing, this nigga's like being a dick, basically. And I think niggas made Irv like go to Bink's crib and make that nigga apologize. And he told the nigga Bink, he's like, cause you can't talk to me that way anymore, cause I'm Irv Gotti. And I think that was like the first time I heard the Irv Gotti shit, and it kinda made me laugh, cause I was like, okay, so what's my code name? Like, we all get a code name now?
Mike Gravano.
Right. Nah, but I was like, okay, so my name change or it don't change or what?
That's crazy, man.
But it kind of fucked me up that he would do that to Bink.
Because that was his man.
Not only that, but bro, we came out of TVT one time and this nigga's MPV, the window was busted out. And the MPC machine was gone. And that nigga's face dropped. It was me, Bink, and my cousin Infrared from Rough Riders. Like, that's my family.
Oh, that's this. Wow. Shout out to Inf.
Yeah, shout out to Inf.
Shout out to Inf. He getting that bread low key.
Yeah,
You
fact.
know, yeah.
So Irv is hurt. We all getting an MPV. And TVT's on East 4th and Lafayette. There was like a restaurant on the corner. And when you make that right turn, there's like this building next to the restaurant. I never knew what the building was. It just looked crazy. It had mad windows and it looked burnt out or whatever. But there's a nigga standing in front of the building while we at the light, and he kind of I'm noticing his body language, and he keep kind of like turning his head this way, looking at the MPV, but then turning back again, then back. And I just locked eyes with the nigga, and I was like, for some strange reason, I'm like, that's who took the machine. So before Irv say anything, I'm already out the MPV. I pop the door open. I'm like, yo, come the fuck. Boom! I rock the nigga. Inf behind me. We chase the nigga into the building. We doing this nigga dirty. Got the nigga all over the place. Bink was kind of heavy set, so Bink blocked the door. So the nigga couldn't run out.
Right.
So me and Inf is working this nigga all over this joint. The nigga runs up these stairs. We chase him up the stairs. We like in some weirdo, dark ass hallway. There's mad curtains. And I noticed, I'm like, yo, where the fuck is we at? Like, this shit looks like people having little room.
Right.
We was in a homeless shelter and didn't know it.
Wow.
We so focused on beating the shit out of the nigga that we not paying attention to anything else. Me and Inf is upstairs. You know, Inf's favorite move is grab a nigga like this, hold them by their neck like that.
Right.
So we working the nigga Inf got the nigga up like this. Irv used to always keep one of them clubs, you know, the orange clubs you put on the
Yeah, you put on steering wheel. Everybody had that back there.
So I didn't even see the nigga come behind us. Cause I'm so busy working the nigga, I'm like, yo, nigga, where's the motherfucking machine? Boom, where's the machine? So Irv come like on this side of me, Inf got the nigga up like this by his neck, and Irv had the club. So I'm like, yo, bust this nigga in his head with the club. Cause this is who took the machine. Yeah, but Mike, but Mike. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? Bust this nigga in his head. So I snatched the club after the nigga dude like, I was like, you can't be for. I start hitting the nigga. It's another nigga that run down the hallway, like muscle niggas. So I could tell, I was like, whoever this nigga is, he upset we in here working this nigga right now.
Right.
Just as he's coming, I'm like, yo, I apologize about all of this, but this nigga took something from us, man. So now we getting ready to get into it. Inf still got the nigga by his neck in the air. I'm hitting the nigga in the club and talking to the big nigga. Police come running. Everyone get against the fucking wall, up against the fucking wall. Nobody fucking move, nobody fucking move. Mind you, this before body cams, all of that shit. Them niggas could have came up that hallway and tore everybody up. Right. And made whatever story up they wanted to.
Right.
So now we all like this up against the wall and shit. I'm like this, the nigga Inf is right next to me here, Irv is here. This nigga's like, no, I'm a producer, I work across the street, I'll tell you anything you wanna know.
Nah.
Stop lying. You better stop it. You better fucking stop it.
He just blew a kiss to
I'll
you.
call Inf right now.
I
I can call Inf right now.
I'll tell you whatever you
The
want.
nigga
Producer,
said,
I'll tell you whatever.
anything you wanted. I looked at the nigga like, yo, you can't fucking be for real,
That
my
shit is
nigga.
hilarious, right?
I just out of nowhere on
Yo,
autopilot.
Mike, can I pause you? This nigga don't ever be laughing. Niggas will tell you tell him one of the greatest stories.
that was
I didn't even
I'm
stop
not,
for a moment.
yo,
I'm not
if
saying you
don't
joking.
believe me,
You real right now.
get up with infrared, nigga.
Woo.
So, but when he said that, what was he talking about?
You already know what time it is.
Yo, bro.
Was he talking?
My expert opinion.
This is why niggas hate us
like,
right
like
now.
his name, his address. Was he?
What was he talking about?
I'm trying to figure it out.
They already hate us already.
I don't want this
When
to
he
be.
said
I
it.
don't want nothing to be.
No
misconstrued.
Whatever you want to know.
In hindsight,
Yo, Bigga is talking.
Hold on. One at a time. One at a
once
time.
I heard, look,
Here come the
once I
clarity.
heard, I'll tell you whatever you want to know.
Look, he start laughing again.
And these niggas already have me up against the wall.
Right.
I'm not thinking in what way did you mean it.
Okay.
I'm only thinking, nigga, there's nothing these niggas could say that is gonna make me turn to you and say, I work across the street, I'm gonna tell you anything you want. Nigga, when I was locked up at Stearns, them niggas couldn't get me to say shit till my motherfucking till my father got back.
Right.
So I'm just looking at this nigga like, you can't fucking be for real. What do you mean you gonna tell him everything you wanna know? I can't rightfully say he would have been like, well, he assaulted him and he is, but nigga, I wouldn't have said nothing.
Right. Right.
And I'm tight because, nigga, you ain't beat this nigga's ass and he broke into your shit.
But you was sure it was him.
And sure, if it wasn't him, it wouldn't have been all of that.
Right.
Period. Period. So from that day with him, I was like, I don't know, bro. Because I know the niggas that I move with, they wouldn't have said nothing like that. Now, mind you, it's still 50-50 in terms of what kind of nigga are you.
Right. Did he
Then
tell
I could
them?
fast forward
Yeah, because
to other things that happened. where I
But this
was
is the
like,
question. Did he tell them?
Yeah, what happened?
Your big is ready.
Did he
I need
tell
to
them
know the
everything
whole
that they
shit.
wanted to know?
Did they go off to the
Hold
side?
Hold on. Let him ask these questions. Because
No,
he don't be getting these questions.
Did they go off to the side? Did they speak to him without out of your
I'm trying
physical
to
eyesight presence?
vaguely, I'm trying to remember, and that part is off. I know we didn't end up getting in trouble that.
There we go.
Yeah,
I know
did.
that. I know they let us leave.
Uh-huh.
I know we got back in the MP.
Oh,
So I know
Geronimo.
that.
Right.
We didn't get in no trouble.
Right. And this was after Irv spoke to him on the side.
They took out, you know, the regular procedure with your name, blah, blah.
ID.
I think, matter of fact, I think somebody from the label actually ended up running around the corner,
And then telling.
Right. but we got to go home.
Right.
So
in the ride home.
After he said, I'll tell you whatever you need to know.
Son, I can't even remember if he drove me home that day or if I took one of those grand cards, because at that time they were called a grand cards and you would have to sign
a
off
waiver and all that.
and all that shit.
Yeah.
So I can't remember which it
Them
was.
old Lincolns, right?
Fact.
Old Lincoln.
But I do remember feeling like, yo, I just put myself on the line for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not my machine. And regardless to all this other crazy shit that you kind of subliminally are throwing my way, I would never hesitate to
Jump out the car and beat somebody up.
For you.
Who violated your shit.
Who violated you. Period. Now, if you want to fast forward to the moment where I was like, okay, we was in Virginia, Uncle Ralph. That's why I say I will never forget how much Uncle Ralph showed me he loves me.
Right.
We was doing a show at this shit called the Riverside Cafe or Riverfront Cafe, some shit like that. And I think it was Bad News, Virginia. I think it was Newport News. And shout out to OC. It was me, OC.
Mush.
I just spoke to Mush two days ago.
Tell us so I need his number.
Say less, I got you.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I gotta call him back because the other night it was a lot going on. But
Word.
we went to the same club we was gonna perform at the day before. It was a Friday night. And something happened with Mush. He was by the bar. And mind you, we was all together. We signed at TVT. Even with the conflict between George, my manager, and Irv, George was with me. Irv was with the Cash Money clique. And my cousin Barnes, who fuck with Puff and them niggas, B.O. That's my cousin.
Right.
He's with me. George is his brother. So even the tension with George, we was all still moving. Again, it's evidence to the fact that if I didn't fuck with you and if my intent was, fuck you nigga, I'm out, it wouldn't have been none of this shit going down.
Right.
So we all moving as a unit. Flush is with me, my brother, like my regular little squad that's on the road with me. And we go in the club, and I don't know what happened prior. I know I saw the nigga O, and it was these two niggas like I could tell he was boxed in. And I just saw the arms moving and the talk, but I can't hear what they saying. So when I walk up to O, the niggas turn around, I'm like, what's up? I didn't mean what's up like, what's up?
Yeah.
I just was saying, what's up?
What's going on?
The minute I say what's up, these niggas try to do me dirty, my nigga. They grab my chain, these niggas is yanking my shit. And next thing I know, I'm fighting 2 people by the bar. Flush is somewhere, I don't know where he is. Irv and these niggas ain't nowhere to be found. And these niggas is trying to do me dirty. So I just remember the niggas trying to yank my chain off, and I was like, yo, don't let these niggas get you on the floor, because if they get you on the floor, you cook.
Curtains.
It's over.
Right, so I wasn't letting niggas put me on the floor. And it's 2 of them, and these niggas is big, my nigga, like considerably. Yeah. But fucking, we brawling, whatever. Now Flushing them come flying from like the downstairs area, like towards us. But at that point, when the niggas seen I wasn't getting on the ground, they kind of let up. But they must have one of them must have slid off and called whoever they was with or what have you. Whatever event it was big because it was the first night that I think I met Ghostface and Raekwon and them niggas.
Right.
So there's a lot of New York niggas at the venue.
It was an event, yeah.
But we got it in. And now the venue clears out. Everyone's outside in the parking lot shit, but now Flush, his brother Rudy, all my Wasteland niggas is around me now. And you know Flush, the niggas like, yo son, who did it? So Flush is like, nigga, fuck that, punch anyone in the face. And he takes a bottle and just throws that shit into the middle of the crowd. So now the whole crowd scatters. And I remember Uncle Ralph was like on this side of me, but about right where Class is sitting. And I'm in mode, nigga. I'm walking around the parking lot like, yo, I'll fuck any of you niggas up out here right now, cause you just tried this and it didn't go down.
Right.
So I see a couple niggas like this way, they talking and then they start deciding to move towards me. Mm-hmm. Flushing them still ain't near me though. They running through the crowd trying to find who it was. Uncle Ralph is dead. It's just like 5, 6 niggas, what have you. But I can see the nigga reaching. Uncle Ralph ran up and was like, no, come on.
Come this way.
And he just starts pulling me.
Yeah.
And he pulls me towards the door, like back in the venue, but then he goes a step further and gets in front of my back and starts pushing me towards the door. And he's like, go inside, go inside, go inside, go inside. He didn't have to do that.
Right.
So he shields me, whatever. Them niggas break off. Someone else started letting on. We end up stomping some nigga out, like, by a car or some shit, like, a couple feet away. The reason that happens is the niggas was running out the club and the nigga Raekwon did the crazy shit. That nigga did the oops and put his foot like that. The nigga tripped. Once the nigga tripped over his foot,
yeah.
We was like, yo, good looking out, Wu-Tang dude. Boom! We all the last niggas working. And I felt bad. I just laughed.
A little penguin joint.
I just laughed. Because, but that nigga Raekwon face right now. That nigga did the end. I mean, that nigga's ill. You know what he did?
Did you ever find out what that was over?
It was just some hate in your blood shit, bro. So the next day, mind you, we still didn't perform yet.
Question. Did Irv ever come around after all? Okay,
Here we go.
I'm bugging.
Right, so next day.
So the first thing I say to this nigga, and mind you, there's another scenario going on between Irv and my manager's brother. Because I think somebody had said some shit like this nigga Irv was like gonna try some nutty shit like to put money on a nigga or some crazy shit.
Okay.
I don't even know where it came, but we found out he was talking some crazy shit.
Right.
So I see Irv and I'm like, yo, why you ain't help me? The nigga hit me with the, man, y'all niggas with the idiot nigga shit, and niggas you be with is idiots. He would always refer to the people I was with as like, yo, that's the idiot squad. And I was like, yeah, but where were you, bro? Where was Raw? Where were you niggas while these niggas was trying to fucking tear me up?
Right.
And mind you, we know we gotta perform the next day. So I'm like, I know where you was, and I know where you wasn't. So fast forward the next day, it's tension between us and the clique.
Wait, let me get this straight. Did that situation started because you saw him boxed in?
Cause I saw Mush boxed in. I saw niggas talking to OC crazy.
Right.
So all I was saying is to O, like, what's up? You okay? Them niggas must have took it like I was telling them, like, yo, what's up?
Right.
It just popped off. It wasn't nothing but 2 words and it popped off.
Right.
So now, mind you, now there's tension between my people, but there's also tension with the shit with George, my manager, because he was looking at it like George pulled me away from him and the production deal and all that shit. He looked at George like George was like the evil, wicked witch of the West or whatever. So mind you, his brother got wind, or I forget how he got wind that Irv was talking some reckless shit like against George. Niggas is not having that shit. So he's like, yo, you gotta give me my 5 minutes. Mind you, this is after the brawl and all that shit. Tensions is high. And we don't even leave in the same vehicle. So him and the clique had one vehicle and we in another van. Matter of fact, my man K-Son had the van with the Smith-ash bit oxys in it and shit.
Right.
You know, so they in the van, niggas is letting me have it like, yo, where was your friends?
Right.
Where was your rough, tough friends at? Them niggas ain't do nothing.
Right.
And they didn't. But as that's occurring, all the shit is coming to a head between him and George. So George's brother was like, yo, you gotta give me 5 minutes. But you super gangster. Do you know this man called my phone and was like, either I called him or he called me and I was like, yo, this nigga brother wanna talk to you, man. You gotta get this man like 5 minutes, bro. Not bro, but whatever it was at the time. You gotta get this man this. But Mike, why does he wanna beat me up?
Yeah.
But Mike, but why? But I don't know. Why don't you come to the hotel and your clothes is in the room or you gotta come back in? Why don't you ask him?
This is the next day?
No, this is that night.
Oh, that night, okay, cool. Right.
And at that point, I don't wanna see any of that happen because I'm still caught in the middle of all of this shit.
Right.
And I still, even with all my adrenaline rushing and all that shit, I still don't want to, so I'm trying to offset the tension between them. It didn't come to blows. I think they might have talked or whatever, but yeah, that nigga was like, but why? But why? But why? But you running around super thug, my nigga, so what you asking why for? So now fast forward, the tension dies down, it's the next day, but we not fucking with each other. Like they went and did what, you know, during the day at them conventions or whatever it is, you go do whatever you do, and then when you gotta perform, you go to your venue.
Right.
So we had to go back. And the clique was performing too. But we wasn't performing like all together. I think originally we was gonna, I would have set it off and then they was supposed to come on after me. But now it's tension between us. So we wasn't even rocking with each other in the club. Like, they was on another side of the club. The niggas that was with me, we was on this side.
Right.
And I remember, like, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if them niggas was gonna come back. And I know if you do come back, it's not gonna be what it was last night.
Right.
We're gonna level up.
Right.
But my man, like TVT gave us, they had these little promotional styrofoam basketballs that said Blunt Recordings on them. And we had them in a bag, like a big duffel bag. But we put the hammers in the bottom of the bag and put all the basketballs on top of the hammers and came in the joint in the spot with the bag. And I never forget this bouncer. I used to always see the nigga at the tunnel. He's dark skinned and he wore glasses. And he was a cool dude. And as I was walking into the spot, the nigga like stopped me like this and he's like, yo, my kid. And the nigga pulled the box cutter out and gave it to me. And he put it in my hand and he was just like, yo, here. And he was like, yo, like, you do what you, reminded me of my, like, do what you gotta do.
Right.
And we got you.
Damn, this is a hip hop show. Crazy.
So now, but we come in the club and we don't know what's up, so the minute we get in the club, it looks like we just throwing a little styrofoam basketballs out. But my nigga K's move is smooth. He throwing the basketballs out, but when he sees one of us, he...
Boom. Boom.
So now we in the club and we good. We do the show's lit, we all right. You gotta understand, during the whole performance in my head, I'm praying, like, yo, please don't let us get it. That's not really nothing you want.
Right, exactly.
Like, for real, like, why would you want that? You don't.
Right.
You know, so I'm performing, but I'm staying focused, and I just want the show to go good, and it's all right. It's cool. The click goes on after. Them niggas go into their whole, and Irv was big on West Coast shit. Like, people gotta understand, he wanted Murder Inc. to be, Murder Inc. is pretty much just a carbon copy of Death Row. If you look at it.
They tried to merge with Death Row before Suge got locked
But that's all down the road. That's like when Big Homie came home and they did the show at
It hits so
Trafalgar
much
Square.
now when DMX was saying to Ja Rule, you trying to be Tupac. Then you got Irv, you trying to be Suge.
Oh, I get the Pac
Okay.
because that too, like, even meeting Pac and all that shit, like, he was going out of his way to connect us. Like, he, at that time, I'll be honest, I wasn't a Tupac fan like that. Like, I liked Brenda's Got a Baby. That would always come on Video Music Box. I remember that shit would always be on. So I liked that, but I wasn't really into his music. I was Queens, nigga. I want to hear us. Let me hear some Nas. Let me hear the Tribe. Let me hear Pete Rock, CL. Let me hear Pooh Bar and them niggas. Like, that's the shit that I would rock out to, and that's really because that's an extension of Law.
Right.
So we do the show, the click comes on, and the way Irv structured this show, they was taking all Death Row joints and freestyling on top of them. And then they was playing like Get the Fortune or whatever. And they do the show, and I think that experience was the beginning of the
split.
The split. Like, I knew the split was coming. And we went home, and, you know, niggas felt in some type of way because niggas was like, yo, we watched them niggas not do nothing. Like, I remember it was some point during the night where I was either talking to Irv or maybe it was Nichols, one of the two, and I said something about, like, being on point or whatever. I think it was Irv who was like, man, keep that idiot shit over there. And I was like, wow, you pretty much telling me I'm on my own.
Right.
Cool. So we get home, couple months go by or whatever. Now Big Homie is home. I don't even remember when we initially met.
Big Homie?
Cream.
Yeah, I know. I said Big Homie.
Right.
You said you don't remember when y'all met.
I'm trying to remember. I remember there was like a game room on like, I want to say God Brewer or something like that. I remember the day I met him, but my dumb ass again, head in the clouds, I'm not putting together that this is like the legendary.
Right.
I didn't know, you know, I knew Chris
You was young when he got locked up.
Right, so
yeah.
I don't know that. I just know what I heard. And it was Chris who I think introduced us. You gotta keep in mind, like Chris one nigga no matter what happens. Like, I know if Chris was there that night, he wouldn't have stood by and not done something. Right. But Rule, all them niggas stood, and I don't even think that Rule and Black and them stood by because they was on some fuck you shit. I just think that nigga was telling them, yo, let them niggas be on their idiot shit or whatever. Like, he would really paint us out like we was just
knucklehead,
barbaric, idiot, asshole niggas that I ran around with.
Right.
So, Holmes is home, now saw Irv Gotti, and the next thing I know, yo, I didn't even know Rule had a deal at Def Jam, none of this shit. I didn't know.
Nobody did.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know about Holla Holla till it dropped.
He started doing it on the Hard Knock Life tour.
No, but I was on Hard Knock Life tour, at least the last show, the show they did in Miami. I'm there. If you look at one of the, I think it's Fade to Black or whatever, you see me on stage with
He did it the whole, he opened up, then he did it the whole Hard Knock Life tour.
The next thing I know, this nigga's not really coming to work at Blunt. And I don't know that you're at Def Jam like that all the time. So I'm not aware of all of this shit. I'm so busy trying to do what I'm doing, and you know, it's long days, long nights. If you're not in the studio, you at a club, you doing what rappers do, bro.
Right.
So fucking, the shit with Rule kind of really took me by surprise. Like, I knew X, he was doing shit, developing X. I knew with Hov, they was working on their whole, on the Rockefeller thing, and I remember when they had that buggy-eyed Benz and they silk wrapped it with the logo, all that shit. Like, all of this shit was still, everything was always a million miles per hour. So, now I'm really noticing changing. And at this point now, TVT is, Blunt is like turbulent because there was so many people that worked there and left. Like, I remember Cookie Rodriguez was like some radio dude that worked there. I remember people were just coming in and out, in and out.
Right.
Like I said, again, we ended up going, I think it was to like Freaknik or something in Atlanta. But the label said I could only bring X amount of people because they was only paying for X amount of hotel rooms and all that shit. So now it's just really me and Flush and maybe my brother, my cousin Reb on the road. And maybe 2, 3 other people. But mainly Irv was, you know, and I think we have somehow found a way to put that shit past us. And we saw Tupac at Freaknik. He was in front of a hotel, and the nigga Irv was like, yo, that's Pac, go jump out and give that nigga the CD or whatever. And I was like, I don't know that nigga. I'm not going up to that nigga and saying that. I don't know him. And that nigga, again, nigga said, what? Nigga, go give that nigga the, like on some. And I was like, all right, here we go again with the.
Right.
But I say, yo, just do it. So I get out the truck, the van, whatever. I see Pac, that nigga's chilling, he's smoking his blunt. Walk up to him, same thing I tell everybody, yo, this my name. And at that time, TVT had these stickers that were red with Mike Geronimo on them. They were like oval shaped stickers. So I give him the CD and the sticker. I'm like, yo, this is my shit. If you like it, bang it. If you don't, bro, you could just, you know, break that shit up. You never hear from me again. And the nigga Pac was mad cool. That nigga just looked at the shit. He's like, Mike Geronimo, huh? I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, I'm gonna listen to it. So, mind you, Irv never gets out, nothing. He just, I guess, watching the interaction.
Right.
So I come back to the van, he's like, yo, what the nigga said? I was like, nah, he was cool. He ain't diss me, he ain't shoo me away, none of that shit. I was like, he actually took the shit, put it in his pocket. Fast forward, Big Homie is home. We end up going to the tunnel. And I think it was me, Reb, my brother, my man that I just met through Big Homie and shit, through Preem, and BJ. And I want to say it was Madge and Stretch from Live Squad.
Right.
And Stretch was cool the minute I met him. Like, same thing like when I met Ham and them niggas. Cool as fuck. So, you know, when you come in the tunnel, there's a bar as soon as you would walk in. Like, you would come in from that side, and there was a long bar, and if you went this way, there was a staircase that went up. You could sit here. There was a bathroom that way, and the stage is that way in front of you. And on this side to the right, there was like a little area with like mirrors and shit, and you would walk through, but it's like a passageway that cuts to the back of the stage.
Right.
So I think it was me, Stretch, and BJ. We was talking whatever, but Pac was there. I don't know if he came with us or if they called him and we met there, or I can't rightfully say. But I do remember like Pac was with us, and we the weed niggas, we the dope heads.
Right.
So, you know, I'm not standing around, you know, Big Homie and them, they talking whatever talk they talking by the bar. So me, Pac, Reb, and my brother Kev, we all walk off and we smoke, you know, we getting ready to roll. So I asked him, I'm like, yo, you want to smoke? I got some weed. He's like, nah, I got weed, you know, but we walking and some nigga bumps the nigga Pac and all the weed falls out the blunt on the floor. And to me, it looked like, you know, a nigga was just walking and he might have just bumped you by accident and no big deal. So he goes in his pocket, he pulls out more weed. I'm like, but I see the bag, like the size of the bag. Back then, you was saying, son, if you had a bag, like a Ziploc about this big.
Right.
So I was like, oh, this nigga, he got weed.
Yeah.
Like, he all right. I'm up here offering you, nigga. I got like a couple of dubs from Body Bag over here and shit that I...
LP or something.
Right, facts. But he got more weed.
Lending them pounds.
So he pulled more weed out. And now we made that cut to that area that's like where you could walk and it'll lead you to the back of the stage. And we walking and Pac's rolling up, and same shit. Nigga comes and bumps him.
Again?
And the weed falls.
Same dude?
Again.
Different dude.
Oh,
It's the tunnel.
okay.
But now I see this shit and I'm like, nah, that wasn't no accident. Like, that was like some disrespectful shit, my nigga. So there was like these mirrors with like a, it was like a platform that came out like this flat, so you could put your drink on it or whatever. So I tell the nigga, I'm like, yo, let's stop here.
So you can roll
and
your
you
weed
can roll
up.
up. And then when he did that, I told my brother and my cousin, like, yo, go on this side of him. Cause the shit was like shaped like a half moon, a half oval. He's this way with his back rolling. So I was like, yo, go that way. Like, you go in front of him here, you go here, and I'm right here. So you can't bump the nigga now. But I'll never forget the look on his face when the nigga bumped him. The nigga did this look like yo, I'm tired of this shit. Not that he could, it wasn't a look like I won't get into it.
I'm exhausted about getting into it.
Yeah.
That's exactly the look.
I was just talking to him about that shit today.
So now we stop, he's rolling up, and I tell him like, yo, we good, bro. Like we good, we all right. And we start moving again. Now we getting ready to go back to where like Stretch and Homie and BJ and them niggas is. So I told, I don't know, I can't remember if it was who went first, but before Pac started walking, I was like, hold on. I said, yo, so one of us take point. And I think it was either my brother or that went in front. And then Reb, Pac was there, I was behind him. I was like, so that's how we was gonna walk back towards that area. And then I don't know how it happened, but I ended up getting in position where I was kind of like next to him or in front of him. And I'm watching this nigga walk towards us, but just his face, I could tell, like.
It was the problem?
Right, he was coming to do something. So before he got to us, I just, with the elbow shit, and I was like, yo, next nigga that fuck with this nigga, we gonna fuck everything up, man. And I want to say the nigga said he was from BK, so he said some shit like, yo, come on, Mike. It's like, yo, this nigga ain't doing shit to you. Like, he's not doing anything to you. And nigga didn't say nothing, he got out the way, whatever. And I think that was the moment me and him got cool.
Right.
And whatever they was talking about at the bar, I knew it wasn't. It was whatever the old.
It wasn't your business.
Right, it wasn't my business. So I didn't know that Nichols fucked with him like that. You know what I'm saying? But the next day, Nichols like, yo, that nigga Pac was like, what's up? You know, tell you what's up. He's like, yo, he fuck with you, kid. Da-da-da. And I was like, yo, that's just good to hear. I didn't really think about it past that. Fast forward, we end up at like some party at either Roseland or the Palladium or something. I think it was Jermaine Dupri's birthday or some shit like that. But it was like the first time I'd ever been to like a real like industry like party. So I'm just blown away by, I'm like, wow, there go Method Man, and wow, there goes this one, and what, like I'm just starstruck.
Right.
Not believing that I'm here.
Right.
You know, so, and Big Homie was with us, a couple other people was with us, and Pac was there. And that nigga just came up to me and like put his arm around my neck, and he was like, yo, nigga, we gonna have fun tonight. Like, we hadn't seen each other in a sec.
Right.
And I was like, word, da da da. And in my head, I'm just like, yo, that's bugged out, bro. This the same nigga I was watching with the Brenda's Got a Baby shit. But the nigga got me like cuffed up or like under his arm, like, yo, come on, nigga, we gonna go have fun.
Right.
And again, the older G's is talking about whatever they talking about. So when we sit down, there was like an area where you could sit down or whatever, and we was watching everyone perform. And I remember like Jermaine Dupri said my name, and he was telling me come on the stage, and they pulled me up on the stage, and all the rap niggas are, it was some ill shit, bro. Like, it was some ill shit, bro. Yeah. Like, and I just remember it was like my first rapper, like, oh, yo, if the girls are gonna be no problem. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So I remember it was some chick I met, and I was like, yo, I need a pen. And Pac was talking to someone. I was like, yo, Pac, yo, you got a pen? That nigga just laughed. He was like, a pen? He's like, nigga, you don't need no fucking pen. Nigga, that broad is gonna find you. You don't need no pen. And he just was laughing at me like, yo, man, I ought to show you what this shit is all about. Right. But it was the best night, bro. You understand what I'm saying? Amazing. like amazing, bro. And then like I remember big homie talking to me like Mike, you know, like at that point it was Mike. Him and God bless, like Blackie, they would call, Blackie would always call me like Mike, whatever. So he's like,
Everybody loved Jess.
You a star, like blah da 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 da. And I'm hearing all this good shit and I go home and again, I think we found a way to put
Everything
the little
behind y'all.
So I think to me, I was like, okay, we'll get past all of this choppy water.
All right.
You know, and Herb calls me and he's like, yo, nigga, yo, you see how the broads was on you and yo, these broads love you, da da da. And, yo, nigga, you gonna do a song with Pop, da 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 da. And I'm like really just meeting Nichols. But it's funny because everyone that Herb would bring me around, I would just get cool with them.
Right.
You know, I would never say too much around them. I would just be me, bro. You know what I mean? I just smoke, chill with you, like. So I get cool with niggas, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then next thing I know, the management shit with George wasn't really going the way it should. I started to realize that I need somebody who knows what they're really doing with this. And it kind of hurt because I was like, damn, he's like family. You know what I mean? So I don't want to not be involved with him. But it's getting to the point where the things he's doing and not doing are
Detrimental.
hurting my career. And now I'm kind of more cognizant of, okay, this is not just what you thought it was. Like, it's not just you rhyme and you put the song out and there's all these things behind the scenes that...
Building relationships
right,
and all that.
The politics.
The politics. I guess this was like my, the revelation to me that...
You needed to have.
That, yeah.
Was it too late? Did it come late? Was your second record out?
No.
When did you realize this?
I was the worst, bro, because Shit's Real dropped. And I took about a year to drop another single, which was unheard of. Like, the label was, like, kind of upset with me, but not really. But they were like, no one takes a year between songs.
Mm-hmm.
And, so we hadn't even gotten to the second album yet. You know, and so,
How did it take so long?
It was me, bro. It was me, bro.
So what was it?
I think what you said earlier about the success.
Yeah, it was all
Trying to
that
calm
shit.
down the energy
and I
coming
still
to-
like, it's like Alice in Wonderland, bro. And I think I spent every day of my life trying to, like, even though I knew I was going through all of it, I didn't believe it was real. And I never saw myself what everyone around me in the world saw.
You didn't allow yourself.
I guess I wasn't allowing myself.
Right. What
And
was holding
so,
you back?
It's weird to say, but it's the only way I could say it. I didn't feel I deserved all of it.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that.
And I don't know where that came from. Actually, I do, to go back to my aunt and my uncle and
Survivor's guilt.
Right.
that, but like my uncle would do shit, like when I was with my aunt who was an alcoholic. Her husband would come in the room when I was a kid and he would just look at me and he would be like, you are one ugly kid. You are one skinny, disgustingly ugly looking kid. You don't have a shot in the world when you grow up.
Jesus Christ.
And on top of that, my cousin John would like literally physically abuse me, bro. Like that nigga would watch wrestling, and then that nigga would be like, what did he do? He took the dude from the top rope and dropped him on his neck.
The same cousin you thought you was close to.
Right. And he would be like, yo, come in.
He probably was jealous that you was
now
in his
you-
house now.
Yeah, now you
Taken away from him.
Right. So
The same uncle you wanted to live with, the same aunt you wanted to live with, the same cousin you thought you was
But your
closest
mother
to.
didn't want you to go with them.
Exactly.
Yep. She sent you with your other uncle.
And what I didn't
She knew better.
know was that my mom and my aunt had like a real jealousy issue with my mother because my mom's worked at Ebony and my mom's was stunningly beautiful and she was getting ready to make like a shitload of money before the cancer episode. I didn't know any of this. I just would get greeted with all of this shit when I was waking up. And I'd just be like, damn, bro, like, yo, I just lost like 4 people in life. Like, why are you in here?
Survivor's remorse.
Yeah, so I think that maybe that might have manifested into, well, you're never gonna deserve anything. And you'll never be good enough for anything, and you're always gonna be, my uncle used to call me the Pink Panther. He used to be like, you skinny, you like the Pink Panther, so he would just start calling me Pink. And he would be like, Pink, I'm gonna let John beat your ass again, Pink.
Wow.
So that's what I was going through.
Did you feel like if you started to enjoy the success and got comfortable, it would get snatched away just like
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like,
and I think that came from, wow, you good at this. 'Cause
Nah,
'cause,
it happens though.
Yeah, but I think I was in this space where I was like, nothing in life can happen, and if it does happen, it won't last long because something's gonna take it from you.
I
mean,
bro, let me tell you something. I had to wake up every morning and play positive shit and listen to an hour of people I didn't know saying positive shit just to undo all the negativity.
Yeah,
that
it's
I had.
amazing what you store and it's amazing how that plays so much a part in self-worth.
And you don't even realize it.
And you don't realize it.
Yeah.
So I think with the record, the hardest part for me to deal with was the fame. I didn't like it.
Right.
Like I remember one time I went to the Coliseum to get some sneakers. This was like after Shit's Real was out and all that shit. And I always went to the haircut hut in the Coliseum. My nigga Fahim and them.
Exactly.
Fahim used to always cut my hair. I just told Lil Peter, I told P2 this shit last night. I remember Fahim would cut my hair and he'd be like, yo, you know your hair, just before Shit's Real, he's like, yo, you know you got a crown on the top of your head, like your hair it spins in a spiral.
Spins in a spot.
And he's like, yo, anyone that has that is a king. One day you're gonna be a king, Mike. And he will always say that to me. Whenever he would cut my hair, fast forward to the day I go get the sneakers, Shit's Real is out. I stopped to talk to Fi and them. I turned around and the whole fucking
Coliseum was
on me, bro. And it bugged me out. I couldn't get out of the barbershop. And you gotta understand, like the barbershop, there was no door, it was just an open booth.
Space.
Yeah.
You walk right in.
Yeah, you could walk right in.
You could go side to side.
So I'm like trapped in the barbershop.
Yeah.
And I'm like terrified, bro. Like I can't even lie, I was scared to death.
Right.
And I don't think people meant any harm, but it was just too much for me. And I remember like finding them niggas, they like got in front of the...
And cleared it out for you.
Just enough for me to get, and I took a cab up there, so the nigga Fahim was like,
He said he wasn't driving.
Yeah, I wasn't driving.
He was there for a minute.
Yeah, so...
Oh, man.
I was like, yo, where's your car at? Where's your cab? I was like, I didn't even call it. Like, he's like, yo, we gonna get you out of here. And then a cab pulled up and he just threw me in the cab. And before he closed the door, he's like, yo, I told you you was gonna be a king. And I went home.
Came full
That's
circle.
where that Nas story came from.
Yeah, but I like, burst into tears when I got my crib. I think Irv came to the crib because I called him. I was like, yo, I just got mobbed at the Coliseum. Like my hand was shaking and I just bust out crying on some real shit. And the nigga Irv was like, Mike, yo, it's gonna be all right. He's like, yo, you gotta let this shit out. It's all right, sometimes that's good.
It's an emotional
Yeah,
thing.
and I was like, I don't like this shit.
Music is emotional. That's why
It's so
like,
crazy how
the whole
someone
business.
you lean on in a moment like that, back then, it turns into what it is now.
Yeah, you know, but it's life, bro.
You think he's upset because he feel like he should have had more involvement in your career, or you should have went further?
I don't think it's any of that. I think honestly he uses the count of songs he did as like, oh, some real shit. This nigga reminds me of Trump, bro, on some real shit, because he uses that and he'll say, oh, I only produced 2 songs. Okay, nigga, but you produced Single Life, Usual Suspects, and Life and Lesson on the second album.
Right.
So what happened to the whole, oh, he didn't believe in me, he wanted to go get lost. I didn't do that for the second album. Like I said, if you wanted to produce 6 songs, you could have. If you wanted to produce 8, the beats you brought me were trash, bro. The ones you brought me that I could fuck with, that compelled me to write. You know, as an MC, my nigga, that music has to tell you where to go.
Go, yeah.
I've never ever did a song and said, yo, I'm gonna write this and then I'll go get the beat. Especially not back then. I would hear the beat and the beat would tell me, no, you supposed to write this to me.
Right.
So if you giving me shit and it all sounds like wooden soldiers marching, nigga, I'm not rhyming to that bullshit.
But even so, like, where does the animosity come from? Just you not picking his beats?
I think it was that. I think his true animosity lies in the fact that I think he really just tried to use me for an example of, if you don't do what I want you to do, these are the results, and I'm powerful now, and I can do this because I could just do this. So let me just have my fun with making you the example. And that's pretty much because I could see if we got to a point where he was like, you didn't believe in me, so don't be around me. Nigga, I was at Crack House. Crack House is 1 and 2.
Right.
I was on Star Island with niggas when you told me to come out. I was up at the Ing. I was at Def Jam so much people thought that I was signed to fucking Def Jam. This is how I know Mike Kaiser and Kevin Lyles and Julie and Todd Moskowitz. And nigga Leo would be like, Mike Geronimo, I want you to come in my office, and LL has a new album and he's done a song called Father, and I think it's amazing. I want you to sit with me and tell me what you think.
Yo, that is awesome. How you do.
And I'm bugging out because I'm like, okay, you like the end all be all up here. And at that time, Def Jam was like a nightclub, nigga. Like, you could look down the hallway.
Hitmaker said that the other day.
Nigga, Nori would be rolling up here.
Same exact thing.
Method Man and Redman would be performing all in together now. Like,
That's
just
what
in the
been saying
hall.
that for
Just in the
years,
hallway,
too.
yeah.
I told everybody Def Jam, that Def Jam
Right.
time was
Like,
special.
nigga, all they needed was a fucking disco ball to drop out the sky at Def Jam.
Right.
It was the most amazing label ever, bro.
Ever at that time. It was unbelievable.
Ever.
You walk through Murder
You
Inc.,
walk-
you walk into Rockefeller. You walk into
And
fucking
yeah.
you walk into Bloodline.
And
you
that
go
wasn't
downstairs.
even the
You had
fun
Chris
part.
Lighty downstairs
Chris,
with Fox and
Violator,
Brown.
all of them.
And Violator, like you walk in the building, you just seeing everybody.
Nigga, I was just so amazed at how they conducted themselves.
That was
I
black
like,
people heaven.
Like, nigga, this is like the tunnel.
Nigga heaven at the time.
He ain't
Smoke
lying.
weed, I told you we
All
could
of
smoke
that,
weed.
all of that, and what?
The security would come, they would be like, yo, leave them alone. They making money, security radio down. They would be like, yo, we're leaving. We had sex
Or they
in
give
there.
you a room.
Yo,
all
we
of
closed
that.
the door, we was
all
fucking
of
in
that.
there. Working girls was coming in there.
You know what was the best part? Because you know, there's not Instagram, so they would have a book of whores you could order, anything. You have photos.
See,
another studio
They
had,
they had back page.
Yeah.
They had chicks that you could buy.
And me, I was just,
Any type of
Look,
bitch you want.
see,
Blonde hair.
I didn't even know that.
No, but see,
Nigga,
but
I
see,
didn't even
he's
know
talking
that.
about.
How did Heineken get to the book?
Yo,
Yo,
No,
nigga,
he's
you
talking
get
about
to
a
the
time.
It was another studio.
That,
I
was,
wanna-
that was a
bananas
time.
at
Yeah,
Def
that
Jam.
was a
So
time.
what was it
3
like?
in the
Okay,
morning.
so moving forward, Murder Inc. starts to pop. What's going on between you guys?
The tension is building. It's building, and I can see that TVT, now I'm older, and now I think I'm getting ready to go into starting the second album, and I'm like, TVT doesn't have it together. Like, they don't, and it was worse for me because you gotta understand, I was their first rap artist on their first rap label.
Right.
So it was a lot of pressure on my shoulders. Like, it was okay if acts 4, 5, and 6 didn't pan out. I can't not pan out. And it's not just about me selling X amount of units. I have to do well so that this label grows.
Right.
And I think they think that I wasn't aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
But these are the things that when I would go home and I'm by myself, along with dealing with the friction of the people that I'm around, along with dealing with
Personal trauma.
my personal trauma, which I wasn't even recognizing.
Still not processing.
Along with dealing with, now shit is completely different. Now, like, my mom's, so Michael, you think you could help me with this? Of course, Mom. Or everyone around, anyone who knows me will readily tell you, money never made me happy. Me being able to make the people around me happy made me happy.
Right.
So I would take the entire wastelands, I mean, literally, nigga, I would come to the tunnel with like 50, 60 people. And I would pay for everyone. And I would buy liquor for everyone. If you didn't have, nigga, me and Inf and George could be, and Flush could be here right on 125th. And I think there was a place called the Mart or some shit like that. That was like a
125 Mart.
Right, yeah, from the Apollo, and they had like Helly Hansen.
It's
and all
closed
that
now,
shit.
yeah.
Nigga, if you was with me and you wasn't good, yo, you need a Helly Hansen too? Okay, cool. Put it on the counter. That's what made me happy. That was my joy. My joy was, if I could make everything around me happy, then I'm good.
Then you good.
And I would never want no one around me. Like, I'm not gonna be around niggas and I'm dripping and niggas is starving.
Right. Well, I got a question.
What's up?
Are you happy now?
The most I ever been in my life, bro. I've never in my entire life. And you know what's funny, Matt? I think somebody is, ironically enough, is BJ's brother. BJ has an older brother. And his brother, I think, is like a pastor. He's involved with the church or something like that. And I remember one day he told me, he said, see, Mike, now you experiencing joy. And he's like, people don't understand that happiness and joy are two different things. Happy goes away. Joy never leaves you. And bro, when my first son was born, I think that was the universe way of saying, okay, look, watch this.
Right.
And when Mikey was born, like, that changed everything. Like, just to see his little arms come up. There's a room they take the babies to let them warm up, to adjust temperature-wise to, they just came out.
Right.
And it was me and my sister, Tiff. And Mikey's arms was like this. And he was the only baby in the room with his arms straight up. And Tiff looked at me, I looked at her, she's like, of course, only your son would be the one in there like that.
Right. That's what's up.
So
the funny thing about kids is you start to realize everything you want for them is really stuff that you wanted for yourself.
That, and you know what they made me realize? My life never belonged to me. My life always belonged to my kids, even before they got here. That's why I was here. That's why I'm here. The minute they was born, Mike was born, I was like, okay, now I get it. My life always belonged to him, and it was only for me to get to the day that he hits the earth.
I gotta stop on that. So what about the person that appointed you to be that person's parent? Your life didn't belong to them? Because we were all appointed to be that person's parent.
I guess to an extent, yeah.
Yeah.
I can say that when I met my wife. It's funny because when I met my wife, I was in a stage where I was like, I don't want no broads, like, taking me off my square. I had left rap completely. I was like, I'm not fucking with this shit. I'd fuck all that shit. And it was the first time that I got to say to myself, yo, what's up, Mike? I'm Mike, I'm your best friend. You never let me be your best friend. You were so busy running around, worried about everything else, that you never let you introduce yourself to yourself and say, I'm your best friend. And my wife was always there, even like when I didn't want her around, when I was like I met my wife because I had left Blunt. I'll get to that whole final day. And when I left Blunt, of course, I lost everything.
Right.
I lived on 82 Pierpont in Brooklyn.
Oh, right by the water.
Yeah, the one that looks like a castle.
I know
That's where I was living.
Wow.
Gone. I had a Lexus GS 400, the first of its kind. I was like literally the first person in New York City with that Lexus. I got it from 57th and I think it's 11th Ave. And I never forget, and it was Irv again. The nigga goes to the Lexus dealer, I go with him, he's like, Mike, there's a Lex that got like buggy eyes like that Benz. And I was like, no they ain't. They didn't even have it on the showroom, it was in a book. He's like, I think I'm gonna get this shit. And I looked at the shit, I was like, nah bro, I think I'm gonna get this shit.
Right, so you got it.
And then Irv was like, all right, but again, evidence to the fact, if you wasn't fucking with me, why was you fucking with me?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
If we wasn't dealing with each other, how am I with you still? Which is evidence to the fact that I think he gets a kick out of just kicking.
I think he just got his own shit.
But we'll get back to that. But anyway, so I get the Lexus, but when I leave, gone.
Right.
All the friends, gone.
They go first.
The chains, the clothes, gone. And it's funny because the day that I left TVT, that was not my intent. I did not wake up saying to myself, I'm gonna walk out of a open budget record deal. that allows me to record with the likes of Puff Daddy, The Locks, DMX. Who would want to walk away from that?
Right.
So I woke up one morning and I went to TVT and somebody there told me, they said, they're gonna cut your per diem today. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, they're gonna cut it. And they're gonna stop paying your rent too. And I was like, okay, the only reasons I ended up at Pierpont Street were because one, MTV had been doing a reality series and myself and my girlfriend at the time were looking to move from Wastelands because I couldn't stay there because now some of the same friends that I grew up with was saying shit like, when that nigga goes on tour, we gonna rob his house.
Right.
Not only that, but everything in this is perception driven.
Right.
Not only that, but Milky sees this place in Brooklyn and that's what she wants.
Right.
So we end up there. So the rent there is $5,000 a month. And at that time, $5,000 a month rent.
Lot. That's a lot.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they were giving me, I want to say it was anywhere from $2,800 to maybe, sometimes it was like $4,000 a month. And when they would bot shit and like fuck up, you know, at radio, or they would fuck up the promo run, or Gottlieb's way of compensating for that would, oh, take this, Mike.
More cash.
Right. And my dumb ass is not saying to myself, all this shit is recoupable. I'm just thinking these people love me so much that they're just trying to make me happy, nigga. Joke is on you.
Right.
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 Ain't your fucking Fred.
Right.
So I found out that they was gonna cut the per diem. I went in Steve's office. And mind you now, me and BJ is kind of on shaky ground too.
So BJ was at TVT at the time?
BJ was my manager, bro. BJ ended up being my manager shortly after Nichols got shot with Pac in the elevator. And that's because me and BJ met and we clicked like birds of a feather.
Everybody clicks with BJ. BJ's just one of those, he's just one of those people that
He's just one of those people, but with us,
niggas don't like them, but they'll be like, I fuck with
I
BJ.
fuck with BJ.
He's that person.
But with me and BJ, nigga, it was deeper than rap. Like, BJ became like my big brother that I never had in life. So BJ is teaching me shit like, nigga, some people you feed with a short spoon, some people you feed with a long spoon, some people you don't feed at all.
He taught me shit too. He would be like, he's like, you on a different level. Don't ever let me catch you walking to get Chinese food with this nigga.
Yeah.
Because if they see you with this nigga, they gonna think you on that nigga's level.
Yeah.
You go by yourself.
Right. So BJ is showing me all this shit now, and now all that G shit, he's teaching me. He's showing me.
Right.
This don't even count meeting Rome and all them niggas that I met through BJ. Dog, you know.
I know that.
All right, but getting back to it, all right, the crib is gone.
All of that shit
Bill
is gone. But here's the thing. We got into an argument in Steve's office. Brian Leach now is at Blunt during that time. And we got into an argument with Steve, and it got very heated. And in the heat of the argument, Steve Gottlieb said to me, he said, you think you made you, you didn't make you, I made you. And that shit cut like a knife, bro. I was like, wow. I thought you was like another dad or something. I mean, you just said you made me. And there was an award on his mantle, and I was like, I should bust your head open with this shit right now. And I was like, fuck this shit. I was like, yo, I don't want to be here no more. I'm leaving. And Vera, who was the vice president, she like ran downstairs. And what people don't know is all that pressure on me was so crazy that I had two suicide attempts by that time.
How? How was the first? How was the second?
The first one, I think I tried to shoot myself in a gun jam. And the second one, I bust my wrist open.
Pressure.
Yeah, I didn't want to be here, bro. You know, but she ran downstairs and she was crying and she was like, Mike, please, honey, we're gonna solve it. It'll be okay. And I love Vera because she always was like the matriarch. She was always like, next to Wanda Snell, who was my publicist, both of them were like the mother figures.
Right.
And I know, regardless to what it was, all they ever wanted for me was to shelter me and protect me.
Right.
And
you were looking for family the whole time.
I think he was looking for his mom. It seemed like after his mom died, everything started to go awry.
Uncle,
It just started
everything.
to
It was
rip up.
no, it was the family.
But they always disappointed
you're
him.
both right.
How about this though?
You're both right. But wait, let me finish just so you have more background. And so we're standing at the door, the main door you go through to TBT. And lo and behold, out of nowhere in my head, I hear my mom. Like my mom. And I never forget, I heard my mom be like, give them all of this shit back. Give everything back, and you're gonna go through a rough time, but you're gonna be better for it. Give them everything back now. I don't know why I heard that. I don't know if that was my brain concocting something, but I told Vera, I said, I'll make you a deal. I said, if you can give me back what made me do this, then I'll come upstairs. I was like, can you give me my life back? Do you have the ability to give me my life back? And she was like, no, honey, I can't. And she just was crying, and she was like, no, honey, I can't. I was like, well, then I have to go now.
And that was that.
And that was that.
You met your girl.
Yeah, and then now, you know, you already know, nigga, like, so it's a couple of months before the crib is gone, which means we tried to hold on the best that we could.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like a man because I took care of everything.
Right.
When I met Milk, I was like, yo, you don't have to work a day in your life ever again. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what I told her.
Right.
And she pretty much didn't.
Right.
You know, and I just didn't feel as a man adequate.
Yeah.
So I think maybe I started pushing her away from me.
Yeah.
But eventually she was gone. And that was me pushing away and infidelity and
trying to mask
trying
it,
to
to feel like a
everything.
man.
Yeah.
By doing shit.
Stupid shit.
Yeah.
So I end up with my dad, who's now left my stepmother, who now is dealing with some weirdo broad in River Park Towers in the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the only place I have to go on earth.
River Park.
River Park.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is great. Because where in the fuck am I going to walk in this bitch where a nigga don't know my face?
Right.
So I have to go get, nigga, I wanted cigarettes early in the morning. I'm walking with the cannon on me. Because that's like the only thing I ain't give up.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So I keep the hammer on me. I'm walking to the, you know, if you know River Park, that shit is like Oz, bro.
Yeah,
you
fact.
go through but my dad was the head of security, which is another twist because now I'm getting cool with niggas in River Park, but I don't want them to see me with my dad.
Because he's the security.
Because he's the security nigga,
Right.
and y'all niggas might think that I'm on some...
Trying to watch y'all talk.
Right.
So everything I had to do was eggshell.
Right.
And I never forget, me and my dad, they fired him. And we had an argument one morning. And the nigga said some hateful shit to me. He was like, well, I never saw you do anything remarkable. And I looked at my father and I was like, why don't you go on your computer and why don't you go to Google and why don't you type my name?
Right.
And he did, and I said, guess what? That's the first fucking page. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say fuck all of this shit. I'm gonna get up tomorrow. I'm gonna go get a real job, and I'm gonna get the fuck out of hell right now. Cause this is hell.
Wow.
I end up going on the internet, and there was a place called Dependable Locks in the Bronx, and they hired me. And this is where I met my wife. My wife was one of my bosses. And little by little, and little by little, and little by little, I started to kind of, it reminds me like, you know the Batman when the nigga had to crawl out of the, to get.
The Bane one,
the
when he had to
Bane.
get out, he had
How
to
many
crawl.
times you fell down? Remember how he kept falling?
Yeah.
He had to thug it back up?
All of that.
My man.
But I kept telling myself,
I'm getting out that hole.
I'm getting out of this hole. And as fate would have it, my wife had a small apartment on 126 in St. Nick. And I went there. And this was after, you know what my roommate was? Jimi Kendrix from Murder, Inc.
Wow.
Said he would let me stay at his crib. So I was working at Dependable. I was staying at Jimi Kendrix's house.
That's downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alphabet City.
Facts.
Yeah.
And I was giving him a little bit of bread, and he was going through his own thing too.
Yeah.
Because this is like the aftermath.
Math. Yeah.
But I was getting out that fucking hole, bro.
Yeah.
And I met my wife, Shelly, and we got married, and her cousin had a contracting company, and one of their accounts was Apple, and they were in charge of taking the screens out of the Genius bars. So we went to the one on Columbus 61st. Like, why don't you come with me? You're not doing shit. You're smoking weed anyway. You're not doing shit. So I was like, fuck it, I'll come out, whatever. And some kid who worked at Apple couldn't get into the inventory gate. I took a flathead screwdriver and something else, and it was all chance. I jiggled the lock, whatever, and I got him in the gate. And my wife's cousin said, if I show you somebody who could teach you that, but how to really do it, you think you would do it? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, no, you wouldn't. You're a rap guy. And you can't Marty McFly me. If you Marty McFly me, then I'm gonna really be like, nigga, what? Triple dog dead? Fuck you and your triple dog dead.
Right.
He introduced me to a guy named Ossie. For a year and a half, I was an apprentice with Ossie, and I asked him for no money until the day that he turned around, looked at me, and he's like, you don't need me anymore, go start your own business. That was 15 years ago, and my business, Embassy Locksmith, has been up and running for 15 years.
Congratulations.
How many kids? 3 kids. That's what's up.
And now you
Mike,
get dragged back
Maddie,
into
and
all
Morgan.
this rap shit. Minding your business.
Come on, we was just enjoying the happy
I
ending.
just can't
my nigga.
believe
We was
like
just enjoying.
it's still a happy, but like
Pause. That was
minding your
crazy.
business.
That was crazy.
Running a business successfully for 15 years.
And then,
Family man.
lo and behold, there's this show, Drink Champs.
Yeah.
And I think NO had been asking me for about, at that point, it was like, shit, like, this was like the 11th kabillionth time I was like, look, fucking rap, nigga.
Yeah.
Like, now I could, run around like, nigga, what the fuck do you mean?
Yeah.
You know how much money I can make on just one of my clients, bro? Yeah. I've come home with like, I keep it 1,000, my nigga. I've seen more money running a small business than I ever saw in hip hop. I didn't own anything in hip hop.
Right.
Everything was recoupable. So fuck the clothes and the jewelry and I didn't own shit. I didn't own my house. I didn't own my car. Nigga, I'd do one job and get a check for $15,000. And I did it with these two hands.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
So now when I'm seeing like Flush and other niggas I know, Flush thought I lost my motherfucking mind when I started a locksmith company. That nigga was like, yo, you have bugged the fuck out all the way now. Yeah. Like, what do you mean?
Right.
And he really didn't even believe I had a locksmith company until one night he was in my truck with me and he hears me turn on my business voice and I'm like, oh, Mrs. Pendleton, I apologize. I'll be right there. No, it's okay. I can remedy the situation for you ASAP. It's fine. I'm not gonna charge you a service charge. Yeah. It's all, and Flush is like looking at me like, nigga, who the fuck is in my man's body talking like this? And that nigga's like, yo, you really owe the company? I was like, yeah, nigga, you see this? This is a receipt book. You see this? This is called Square. I take your credit card and do this to it.
Wow.
Congratulations.
You're happy,
Word.
man.
God bless you. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Wait, before we end off, it's a legendary question I have to ask, and I'm sure a lot of the world want to know.
Sure.
So you spoke about Nichols, and you spoke about the other guy that used to be with Pac. What was his name? Stretch.
Yeah.
The world want to know, because I watch the internet, I look, and it's confusing. Did Stretch set Pac up?
See that part, I'm not ducking it.
This is my expert opinion. You know
what's funny?
Look, I'm a street guy. Before you even answer,
fact.
If I'm with this guy, and he got dudes around him that he think is his friends, I'm the first to tell him, this dude ain't your
fucking friend.
Right. Because I'm a real, I could tell. So I'm asking you on that level. Opinion.
Because
this is something
no, I'm gonna keep it a buck.
I'm looking at all day.
We've been buck all
and
day.
I'm confused.
I wouldn't stop now. We've been a buck all day. I wouldn't stop now. I don't think I ever saw that because you gotta understand with me. Everyone showed me love. Everyone showed me the best side of themselves. So even Stretch, like,
showed you that.
Hell yeah.
So you can.
So I couldn't and I've never really said to myself, I think homie had everything to do with that or nothing to do with that. I never viewed it that way. I only viewed it as, cause you know what was fucked up, bro, which hurt my heart?
What?
Tretch had to tell me, cause Tretch and Pac was tight. Tretch had to, because the night that they got shot, my first move, I think I was at another studio and they were at Quad. And I heard it on the radio. Yo, this just in. And the first thing I did, I think, was call BJ. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna go to the hospital. And he was like, nah, don't do that. Don't go there. And then the next day I was like, I want to go see Pac, is he all right? And I knew it was something because somebody told me, they was like, yo, Mike, he's all right, but he doesn't want to see anyone now.
Yeah, he was.
And I kind of felt like, damn.
Tretch sat in that chair, he told us he was.
And then when Tretch when I saw Tretch, I think they did like a memorial party for him, but we was all in Miami. And it was doing some big convention, but I was like one of the only New York niggas that came. Like at that time, the Bad Boy Death Row tension was crazy, but that was my nigga. I'm not gonna come pay homage rather. So I remember I went in and I had my man with me, and I saw Tretch and he was like, yo, don't think this nigga didn't love you, bro. Or that he didn't have no love for you, bro. I know he did. I know he did. And I'm telling you that. And I guess I found some kind of a solace from him saying that.
Yeah.
But in terms of what I will say is it couldn't have came from nobody that wasn't from here. I don't know who's responsible for it. Not meaning here, Queens, but meaning
NYC.
So it was someone here.
We understand that, but
low
Stretch, that's a whole shit. Pac died, making it seem to us that it was Stretch that did it. And this story is still going on to this day. Stretch brother, Mad, came out and said that's bullshit. Nichols, who you talk about, is the dude who actually got shot with him in Quad. Nichols went on a television show and said Pac shot himself. So this leaves the world to want to know, what is the truth here?
But I know what you're talking about when he said that, but I think that might have just been.
Never know.
I think some might have been holding it.
Nichols said,
we'll never know.
Clearly, Pac shot himself.
Nobody will never know.
Like, honestly put, and I'm going to say this. All I know is there's never been a minute where I haven't played my position and stayed in my lane. And so if there was anything that could maybe indicate or not at all indicate, I wouldn't know, because unless I'm instructed, then I'm not there. I don't, it's too, what BJ taught me, you got 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth. Listen and look twice as much as you speak.
When I heard his brother speak about it, his brother dismissed it, and I accepted that. But most recently, I know y'all watch YouTube. Tupac's girlfriend has now appeared, Desiree, and she talks about it, and that bothered me. And she said that, what's his name, Stretch? Tried to holler at her and tried to hit, you know, on
everybody be needing information. Everybody want to be on TV. Everybody want to be on TV.
That's not
Here's the question.
But you understand what I'm saying, though.
You gotta question anything anybody get paid for, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta question that shit.
So you gotta question what they don't get paid for, because they be clout.
No, I'm saying
they drug.
If that television network,
you know what I'm saying? You gotta question
that.
all that.
Yeah, you gotta question that.
I mean, at the
the
end
girl
of the day,
coming out saying that the
my
dude tried to
concern is
hit.
Oh, bigger.
One
You
of
don't
my
got the
friends got
answer, bro.
shot, and another one of my friends
leave
got
it alone.
shot. And that's the only way I ever looked at it, you know? And,
Alright, since we
and
brought
that's
up all
just
that,
not my territory.
how much did Puff charge you for that single?
Oh, man, that was, wait, I'm trying to get it
Was it
right.
50K? That's the legend.
I think it was,
And then he won another 50 for the video or some shit like that?
he won, yeah, he damn sure did. And I got love for Puff, like that's why we done bugged out all that shit.
Right.
The nigga treated me like I was an artist, signed it. But yeah, he ain't hesitate to take that fucking, that check, nigga, that when we shot the video, he's like,
didn't clear it,
I need 50, nah, then don't come to the video, nigga, I figure this shit out. Weirdest shit, we was watching that shit this morning, and I just told this nigga the story, like, yeah, and then the nigga turned around and asked for another 50.
Leverage.
Just to be in the video.
It's that good old leverage.
But it's like I
Good
said,
old leverage.
I don't think they looked at it like it was, yo, we robbing Mike. Or
we taking it from the label.
We taking it from the label.
Right, yeah.
But you really still taking it from me, nigga, because I gotta sell the units to clear that.
Right.
You know.
Did you clear it?
Yeah, he had no problem.
He clear, he just wasn't in the video.
He just wasn't in the video.
To push the record.
Yeah.
Right. You need him dead set.
Bro, it didn't matter. Yo, that was like the most spins I've ever gotten in my life on a song. That's the most rotation I ever got out of any song I ever did.
Have you managed to process anything? Have you stopped stacking?
The best thing is about 3 years ago, right before the pandemic, I'd actually started therapy. And it's so crazy how on point all three of you were, because what therapy has allowed me to come to terms with is I did stack and I did suppress. I was always searching for a safe place. And I was always searching for home.
Right.
And I was always searching for my mom. And the best part about where I am now, like I always say, the best parts of my day are when I'm putting my kids in the bed and I kiss all three of their foreheads, and I have to tell my youngest, Morgan, knock it off with the tablet. Give me your tablet.
Yeah.
But Dad. And in the morning, when they come flying in my bedroom, and they all jump on the bed. And that's the 2 times of the day that remind me that I'm safe, that I found that same love that I thought I could never see again,
Yeah.
and that I have a home. I mean, not just a roof, but in my heart, I have a home, and I don't have to run, and I don't have to stack. I'm safe.
Wow.
And no man, no man can take that from me.
Awesome.
Dope.
It's Hoffa, trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars, I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work you heard. Making fiends leave earth you heard. Got your baby mama thirst you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the wave you need to surf you heard.